Blog Talk Radio.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
5 seconds left in the game. You believe in miracles? Yes!
Welcome to the Hard Rock and Sports Studios and another edition of the weekly video recap. March 3rd.
With the players.
Come on, rise, direct from hell, final.
But hey, enough of my yakking. What do you say? Let's boogie.
And that's my cue to start the show. Welcome to another Thursday night edition of the Hard Rock and Sports Show, live from high atop Hard Rock and Sports Studios in beautiful scenic Monroe, New Jersey. We are your 3-hour weekly get-together where we bring you all the biggest news from around the worlds of hard rock, heavy metal, and, of course, the wide world of sports. Guys, welcome to Thursday night, January 21st. It is a different year, folks. We are in a new time. We have a new president. I will take a second and say I want to wish our former president, 45, Donald Trump, and his family a continued success in their now private life. I'm sure whatever the former president decides to get involved in will be a major success. And I'd also like to take a second and wish the current president and his administration all the success in the world. While I am not a fan of the current president and his vice president, I am a fan of this country, and I will always root for the people who run our country, because it doesn't make any sense. Now, I don't feel like it's off to a great start. But listen, I'm not going into politics tonight. I'm just going to leave it at I wish the current president and his administration much success. He's successful. The country's successful. And that's what it's all about. So only time will tell. Hopefully things will be so smooth and quiet it won't come up here on the Hard Rock and Sports Show. But I hope you guys have had a good week. I got to tell you, it's such a far cry right now from March and April. It's up there, Will Cloak. It's such a far cry from April and March and May, even into June. When there was no sports, no concerts, everybody was just hiding in their house or being sick. Now you're in the middle of the NFL playoffs, and congrats to the NFL. They've managed to get to this point. It's exciting. It's almost like it's its own bubble. You hope and pray that there's no last minute, nobody gets sick. You hope and pray that the games go off this weekend without a hitch. But congrats to the NFL. You got baseball, all sorts of stuff going on. The Yankees signed Lemieux, Corey Kluber. The Mets GM gets fired. Boy, what's he thinking about? There's a lot of stuff I want to talk about with that. Don Sutton passes away. A vastly underrated pitcher. So much. Basketball, hockey are in mid-swing. You got basketball, football, hockey. Baseball's around. Basketball, hockey, football. Baseball's around the corner. Boy, I got to tell you, for the sports world, it's huge times. Now, the music end of it, it's quiet. I went through the whole thing. It's all people talking about politics. The guy from Iced Earth gets arrested. He's spraying people with bear spray. I keep seeing bear spray. What is bear spray? But regardless, there's just nothing happening in the music world. It's all about politics. There's some people putting out a couple of songs. But we're still in that time right now where there's just music is such a light story. I have trouble coming up with something to talk about. There's so little to talk about. 40th anniversary of the start of Motley Crue. All right, that's a good one. 40 years since Motley Crue got together, or whatever. But there's so little to talk about. But it's so busy right now. I do want to mention. Jeff's going to come on in a few. He's running a little late today. The passing of a dear friend of the show, a dear friend of ours, Mr. Tony Gunn. His dad passed away, I believe, last night. The wake is this weekend. If anybody needs to know, you can private message me. I'll give you the details. I was reached out by a dear friend, Mr. Joseph Gansis. Joe Gansis, who's Tony's brother-in-law, reached out, gave me the details. So if anybody wants to attend, please reach out to me if you want, and I will give you that message. So, but I'll hold on to a little bit of Tony Gunn and his father stuff till Jeff comes on. But our condolences to the Gonzalez family, Gansas family, Ferraras, everybody, one of the nicest people, Tony Gunn, that you're ever going to know. So our condolences to Tony and his family. Gumayalu, what's up, brother? Let's see. So like I said, there's so much happening in sports right now. I haven't totally got into hockey. I keep it just a little toe in the water. Basketball, a little bit on the locals. I mean, I think last night was the first time the Big Three, as they're calling them, got on the floor, scored 96 points, and lost because they don't play defense. 96 points, I think they scored between the three of them, and they lost in double overtime to Cleveland. How you like that? I have a hard time rooting for stuff like that, so I'm rooting against it. But I haven't gotten too much into the basketball world. A lot of not so much baseball stuff. I heard there was some Trevor Bauer stuff, rumors today. Springer signs. Not with the Mets, and people upset about it. Yeah, yes, Frank. Everybody. I'm gonna get to that in a minute, but George Springer signs out elsewhere. I think that was smart by the Mets. I have to tell you, for the value, what you would have spent to get him, I think your money's better spent on a Jackie Bradley or somebody of that ilk, maybe a little less offense, just as much defense. And you don't spend the money, and then maybe you can use that money other places. So I think I got to be honest with you on that one. I'm with the Mets on that one. I think that was overpaying for a guy. That could turn into a very bad contract. So good for the Mets. I'm sure they're not done. Lots to talk about baseball-wise. Yankees signed DJ LeMahieu, which I don't think anybody had much doubt. The one thing I'll tell you is I'm surprised on the dollar figure. I don't know if he sold himself short. But he took a 6-year, got $90 million. I thought he would get over $100. It's a good value contract for the team. Maybe a little shorter what I thought he would get, but he seems happy. And if the last year or year and a half is a little dismal, I'll take it. The next 2, 3, 4 years, I think that guy's a hitting machine, and I think it's going to be a great one. So we'll get more into the Yankees and the Mets. We'll talk about the Jets. Yes, Frank Catalano is so right. The Jets have won the Super Bowl already. They hired a coach. He's got energy. He's full of energy. I heard that about Rex. How'd that work out? Maybe he'll get a tattoo with Sam Darnold on his arm. Come on, listen. I have no idea whether Robert Saleh will be a good football coach or not. I have no idea. Nobody does. People say, well, he got beat in the Super Bowl. Yes, he's bringing over coaches from that team with their newfangled offense. How'd that do for Jimmy Garoppolo? It didn't. So, again, I have no idea. I'm not going to badmouth the guy. I have no idea whether Robert Saleh is going to be a good football coach or not. But, man, temper it down. You got holes everywhere. He didn't bring 20 players with him. He did not bring 20 players with him. So I want to hold on to a lot of that until Jeff gets on. I am a little surprised that Eric Bieniemy has not gotten a job. I know there's some rumors. I've been listening and reading all week. A lot of people, and I said it. I don't know if anybody remembers, but I said it. There's a lot of rumors out there that he doesn't call the plays. You got Patrick Mahomes, so you got the talent. He's not calling plays. Quite possible. He's not the guy. Just because that team is successful, scores a lot of points, maybe Andy Reid's pulling the strings, and maybe it's a lot to do with Patrick Mahomes and a team that doesn't have a Patrick Mahomes type guy. might not be a good fit. So we'll see. But I still think he might get the Texans job. That's the last job that's out there. There's a lot of coachings. Most of the other jobs are gone. I don't know if everybody saw the Dan Campbell press conference. We'll get to that tonight. Boy, that was interesting. I remember Dan Campbell was a tight end for the Giants. I remember Lou wasn't a bad player, hard nose, decent hands, good blocker. Dan Campbell, I think 99 to 2002. So we'll talk about that. I want to talk about Deshaun Watson and disgruntled coming to the Jets. The Jets, we got to get Deshaun Watson. Well, let me ask you a question. Deshaun Watson had DeAndre Hopkins, had a fairly decent running game, a great defense. How many trips to the AFC Championship game did he make? How many times did he get to the Super Bowl? Just check him. And he wants a say in who's getting picked to be the head coach. Boy, I gotta tell you, that frustrates me. But we'll get to that. We'll talk about one change to the rules I'd love to see made. If you saw the Cleveland Kansas City game, which was a fairly decent football game, there was a very momentum changing play in the fumble through the end zone. I want to talk about that. The Mets GM gets fined for sending out dick pics. Boy, I got to tell you, people talk about the Mets, new Mets, same old Mets. Last year was Beltran for cheating. This guy sending out texts. But I have to tell you, I'm curious why it was sat on for 4 years, and then at this moment it was time to send it out. Curious. I'll talk about that. Let's see. We'll talk about some. You guys watch Cobra Kai yet? You guys got to see Cobra Kai. Season 3, great stuff. I'm addicted to Cobra Kai. Addicted to Cobra Kai. Great stuff. We'll talk about this past weekend's game. We had some 4 good ones. We'll talk about this upcoming weekend's games, and plenty more to get to when we kick this into full drive. Guys, I hope you have a good week. It is what it is. Chiefs only 3-point favorites over the Bills. Trap lines on Mahomes. I'm going Mahomes is not healthy. I know they said he went through the practice, Lou, but then somebody else came out and said it was just a simple walkthrough. So we already know he's had a bad foot, and the head injury was weird. Let's get Jeff on. Let's get the show started. We got plenty to get to. I want to get right into the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, the lines, and everything that's coming up. Oh, yeah, and Dwayne Haskins signed with the Steelers. I told you, folks. I told you before the draft. Danny Dimes was the guy. Haskins, stay away from him. And I was right. Patting myself on the back on that one. Haskins. Speaking of let's bring on Jeff. What's up, FA? That's how you greet me, shaking your head?
Well, because I hear you picking on Dwayne Haskins. Meanwhile, you got a guy that chucked 9 fucking touchdowns for the entire year and
take
1,700 fucking interceptions.
Danny Dimes any day over Dwayne Haskins.
Listen, Danny Dimes could fumble air. This kid sucks.
I could care less what you have to say. I got Danny Dimes.
You asked me, I'm telling you.
I don't remember asking you. You came on shaking your head, so I just sat there.
You asked.
I asked. Right.
You asked with your eyes.
Oh, gotcha.
They say so much.
Definitely. Listen, but first off, you're looking smooth. You're looking pretty good. I wonder, have you been working? Yes, Louis, you're absolutely right.
Let me ask you, who is this fucking jerk off? I mean, seriously.
Louis is the best
this fucking guy
ever. The best guy ever. Oh my
whatever.
God. Dearest friend.
Anyway.
Let's see where we start. First off, Jeff, we always do. How was your week?
Interesting. Yes.
Okay. Why?
Very interesting.
Tell us why it was interesting.
No, just everything that has transpired in the last couple of days. It's been unbelievable. I think the best thing to happen so far this week has been the Bernie memes. They're incredible.
That's the one with him sitting in the chair.
Oh my God!
Oh, it's the funniest thing ever.
Dude, I got to send you some of him sitting on the Ride the Lightning album, him sitting in The Simpsons, him sitting in a hospital bed waiting to get discharged.
I have to be honest. I did not. I avoided as much yesterday as I possibly could. I
hear you.
I avoided as much as I possibly could. I opened the show. I'm transparent. I opened the show tonight and I said, I wished our former president and his family well in their future endeavors and in their private life now. And I wish Joe, the new president and his administration well. I want them to do well. I don't have a lot of faith that they will, but I certainly want them to do well, because if he does well, the country does well. We all do well. So
Of course, listen. Anybody that wants the president to fail means you want the country to fail, and that's just stupid. You know what? In 4 years, if you don't like him, you get your chance to vote him out.
absolutely. Now we'll see. Listen, it's going to be interesting. I hear a lot of stuff for calls for unity, but we'll see.
What are they? You know what, Tom? What are they going to say? What do they think about that? They're not going to turn around and say, because you know why? They know it's too late for that.
Yes.
They broke balls for 4 years. Now you think that you're going to get unity just because he's gone?
Yeah.
Now you better hope that you got a Democratic Congress while he's in there, because if not, it's just going to be the same thing, and we get a different show with different sides.
Absolutely, but
That's all.
Listen, it is what it is. I'm spending my time listening to sports radio and music instead of the politics. And again, I also opened up saying, Jeff, that it's far cry right this minute from March, April. Let's say end of March, April, May, when we had zero to talk about other than politics or COVID.
Well, listen, it has expanded a little bit, and we can only hope that it's going to keep going. But let's see what happens. 100 days with masks. I mean, if after 100 days, if there's no more masks, that'd be great. You
heard Fauci today. I heard Fauci today saying
masks to like 2095.
Well, he's saying till next September we'll get some sort of normalcy, and the 100 days of mask is only on federal property.
Wait a minute. Next September, meaning September of 2021?
Yes. Before you see any sort of normalcy. And that's if they get 75% of the country to take the vaccine.
Listen, here's hoping we could send a few people twice.
Yeah, exactly. Because they ain't getting me. But
I ain't getting that shit either.
And the mask is only 100 is if you're on federal property. If you're on a federal property, you have to wear a mask, regardless of inside or outside.
All right. Well, whatever. Listen, you're seeing that you brought up about some of the football games.
Yep.
And let's talk real quick about Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah.
I do not understand that signing. Okay. In the offseason, after the season didn't even officially end yet.
Nope.
Why would you sign, if you're the Steelers, what is the plan of signing him? To replace Big Ben?
That's a great question.
Are you kidding me? How could you even think that? To do that?
Again, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But Jeff, there's always that optimism out there. There's always somebody who says, "I can fix him. He's going to be a good player. I can fix that guy." Always somebody who says, "I can make that work." How many times you see guys get jobs 4 or 5 different times before they finally fade into obscurity?
Well, here's my thing. Okay, you bring that up. You said about like in the past, Christian Hackenberg and some other quarterbacks, maybe Johnny Manziel and a few others. What was that other kid's name on the fucking Jets that sucked? He came out of West Virginia.
Oh, Geno Smith?
Geno Smith. And a lot of people said, "Oh, we could fix him. We could do this. We could." And if they're not Tim Tebow, there's just some people you're never going to be able to fix. It's impossible. And it certainly seems as though that Haskins may be one of those people very early on in his career, because you're talking about a quarterback needy team and they let him go.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he was a little immature, but if you think that he stood any kind of a chance of being a player in the NFL for when you drafted him, you don't even try to trade him? Nothing? You know what I mean? Makes no sense.
Well, listen, there's a lot of issues. First off, he gave no look at all that I saw, and I watched a bunch of his games where he looked like an NFL quarterback. He constantly looked. Now, again, in the NFL, Jeff, we talk about this all the time. People are way too impatient. But here's the problem with a guy like that. One, you drafted him, top 15. Second of all, he had a lot of personal issues, which really exasperates the get him out of town thing. So that's the major problem with Haskins and why the Redskins thought best to dump him. And again, like I said, he's got tools. I said it when he was in college. He was a one throw player. and was a terrible distance thrower. He could throw the ball short to medium, but to me, I didn't think his game translated. So
Now let me ask you something. As a Giant fan,
yeah,
okay, a team in your division giving up on a player like Haskins. Okay, now whether it's the right thing to do or not, it doesn't matter. You'll find that out sooner or later. It probably is. But now that means that they'll probably be bringing in an upgrade. Of course, they're going to try to bring in an upgrade. What do you with that defense? What do you think? What are the Giants up against now? Let's say they get maybe Jameis Winston or maybe Bridgewater come back. And like you got to think of who they're going to get now. Washington. I don't think it's going to be Alex Smith.
I think Alex Smith will be on the roster next year. I'd be surprised if he wasn't, unless he retires.
Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah.
Oh, you're comparing him to Jamarcus Russell. I thought you meant they're going to pick up Jamarcus Russell.
No. I think Alex Smith will be on the roster next year. Just even unless he retires. I think the question becomes, are they looking to build long term? Maybe they draft a quarterback, but they don't have a. They're going to get the second tier guys coming out this year, which they might draft anyway. I think you're right. I think they take a run at, maybe a Sam Darnold if he's released, a Jameis Winston, is a possibility. Mariota played semi well for the Raiders. I could see a retread there. Maybe a Nick Foles type guy. A retread with a questionable draft pick. I think they're in that state right now where they kind of need to win because that defensive line is so dominant, but you're going to have to start paying those guys in about 2 years. And that's the problem.
They're only going to be able to keep a certain amount of them. They're not going to be able to
yes,
that team.
Right. So that's the point. So if you wait too long and you try to bring in a guy this year who's a project, I think they got to go veteran guy and try to go for it all next year or two. Because I don't think the Cowboys are going to be great. The Eagles are going to suck. The Giants are questionable right now. So that division, you gotta Stafford to the Skins makes sense. You go to go for something like that. That does make sense. I don't know if they could pull it off.
You're saying Stafford to the Skins. That's understandable. But what says Detroit wants to get rid of him already?
Again,
I still think you got another couple years out of Stafford.
You know what? You're probably right. But here's the thing: new coach. They're going to turn over that roster. Is it time to turn it over with a player? That's another team I saw today that people are talking that should make a run for Deshaun Watson. Now, I'm not a big Deshaun Watson fan. I know you're more high up on him than I am.
Well, because my team needs a quarterback, and I think when you're dealing with somebody else's draft picks, I would only do that trade for the right thing, and that would be you could get rid of your number one and give up the Seattle number ones. If that's the only thing, the only other thing I would do to sweeten it is throw Donald in. Other than that, if you can't get it for that, at the best, I wouldn't do it.
See, but here's the problem. Jeff, I agree with you. Deshaun Watson would definitely be an upgrade, but the problem is he's proven he needs talent around him. If you give up all your clout to bring in players, so now you're going to eat up a big piece of the money you got in your cap, okay? Because he's got a big contract.
Not this year, next year.
Okay, so and then you're giving up 3 number 1 picks, 2 this year, 1 next year, to bring him in. To who you giving him to throw the football to? Who's blocking for him?
Well, listen, these are true facts without a doubt. They still have plenty of draft picks. They still can make a few moves. But I want you to think of this much, all right?
Mm-hmm.
You're trading the number 2 pick, which no matter who they pick with the second pick in the draft, is he going to be enough? Would he match up to Deshaun Watson? Who could you see picking second? Who could you see them taking that would match up to Deshaun Watson? Because you're giving up your number 2 and Jamal Adams basically to get Deshaun Watson.
See, again, I would agree with you. As far as quarterbacks go, I don't like anybody. I think the kid from BYU is a good quarterback. I think there's some guys there. I like Mac Jones. I know that he's not going to be a high draft pick. I think Mac Jones in the right setting could be a good pro quarterback. Do I think there's anybody there who's a lock? Absolutely not. So to me, I like for the Jets to either keep Darnold, and I heard now if you heard Saleh on FAN today, but he's not throwing out Sam Darnold with the bathwater yet. So there's a chance that Sam Darnold stays, But I think the likelihood of maybe bringing in a veteran guy, okay, make the trade for Watson, but don't sell your soul, and then use that number 2 pick or number 1 pick on another offensive lineman or a deep threat, somebody to throw the ball to.
Well, listen, I hear you. I hear all of that stuff, but come on, man. Deshaun Watson for your number 1 and 2 number 1, 2 first rounders that you got from somebody else in the trade. You're going to tell me that Jamal Adams and whoever you pick at number 2 is going to be better and more helpful to the team than Deshaun Watson?
I don't know. You know what? I'm
I wouldn't take it.
Again, I'm. Here's the thing, Jeff. Deshaun Watson has had for a couple of years. He had but most people will say he's the best receiver in football, a damn good running game, a terrific offensive line, an outstanding defense, and he did what with it?
Well, this year he didn't have a fucking wide receiver, and he threw for almost 5,000 yards.
Again, and they didn't even make the playoffs. So again,
Doesn't matter. You know, that's like saying that you get Aaron Judge to hit 50 home runs a year, but the Yankees don't make the playoffs. So you're going to tell them no, that you don't want him?
No, but what I'm saying is,
who was the last?
God.
Hold on. Why do the fans want to give up on him now? Do you think? No, I don't think Sam Darnold will be better with a new coaching staff. I think Sam Darnold is, I don't want to say damaged goods, but close to damaged goods. I think the guy, when you watch him play, first of all, he doesn't play a full season. He has not played a full season yet, either injuries or sickness or whatever it is. He's always missed games every year. Sometimes he doesn't look like he knows what he's doing, that he has more than one receiver on the field. And I just think that it's too much to build him back up to where you want to be. The guy's going to be in his 4th year and he's regressing. I would want him on the Jets.
But he's not, I think he's 23 or 24 years old. So it's not like, I'm just saying, I was not a big Sam Darnold fan coming out of college. To be honest, I thought he had one spectacular game against Penn State in the Rose Bowl. I thought otherwise it was one good season. I was not high on the pick, and it turned out, to be right. I don't know if he just wound up in a bad situation and the end of bowls and then 2 years with Adam Gase.
It didn't help that they switched coaches on him, which now would be his 3rd coach if he stays with the team. Offensive coordinators. Yeah. No Jet quarterback in God knows how long has had a steady offensive line or steady receivers. So, they didn't help him that way. They definitely didn't get him any weapons that way.
Again, so that's the point. So again, I think it behooves the next coaching staff to think about and evaluate him to say, hey, do we have somebody in camp that we can make work and use our picks for better? Do we sell our soul a little bit here for Deshaun Watson? It's again.
He's a proven player, Tom.
I'm not agree, Jeff. 100%. I won't argue that.
He would be the best
quarterback.
If they got Deshaun Watson, he'd be the best Jet quarterback since who? Testaverde.
I mean, listen. Testaverde on the Jets wasn't great, but he was good. But listen,
who was the last great Jet quarterback?
I don't think Jets ever had a great one. Kenny O'Brien was probably the most consistent Jet quarterback of all time. Kenny O'Brien. To me, I didn't see Namath play, but going by the stats, I always think Namath.
Going by the stats, he was probably Pat Hayden. Pat Hayden on the Jets. Oh no, Pat Hayden probably the best USC quarterback.
Yes.
Yeah, you're probably right. Probably right.
Yeah, but, Liner did shit.
And wait, to reiterate to Frank, what you're saying, that they should have never traded up for him. If you remember, he was the hot name that year.
Absolutely, 100%.
And everybody thought he was going to go to the Cleveland Browns. And when the Browns took Mayfield, and there he was for the Jets, everybody was going mental for that.
Yes.
Because they thought that this was suck for Sam, and then they won too many games or whatever it is that happened that year. I don't remember all. I know that they finished second or third, and they traded up, and they ended up with him. But this is the Jets that you're talking about. Jets could probably have ruined Tom Brady.
Listen, and again, I'm a big fan of saying that sometimes it's not the talent of the quarterback, it's where he winds up, what system he winds up in, who's around him, who's surrounding him. Look at Tannehill. Now I'm going to tell Tannehill on the Dolphins at best was an inconsistent player. He goes to the Titans and he's turned into an NFL quarterback. Is it the system? Is it, did he grow up? What changed Tannehill from being essentially a bust to listen, he's not an elite quarterback, and Chad Pennington was a good quarterback who, if he didn't get hurt, might have had a better career, obviously. So
Chad Pennington was a very good quarterback, but he proved to be fragile.
Yeah.
And he got hurt all the time. Was it like 2 or 3 seasons in a row? He missed time because of injuries, wrist injuries, shoulder injuries.
Yeah.
He won comeback player of the year because of injuries.
Like I said, yeah, I like Deshaun Watson in the sense I think he is a professional quarterback. I would not sell my soul to get him, to not be able to surround him with players and be better. But if you can get him at a decent price, maybe 2 number ones, maybe you can, swap your number ones and then give up a couple down the road.
He has a no trade clause. The Texans aren't just going to fall for that. They're going to want a boatload of picks. You know that. Well,
again, here's the thing. He holds the keys. He said he wanted them to interview Saleh. They didn't do it. He wanted them to hire. Now they still may hire Bieniemy, and he may change his mind and stay there. That's also a possibility.
Okay, now to switch gears real quick, Bieniemy, what is going on? Why doesn't anybody hire this guy?
Well, I think
what is the second or third year in a row that nobody's taking him?
I said this a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if you remember it, and I've heard this a few times, that there's a little bit of he's got Patrick Mahomes, so he's got a great quarterback. And the rumors are, even though I've heard Andy Reid come out and say differently, that Andy Reid calls the plays. So if Andy Reid's calling the plays and Patrick Mahomes is your quarterback, basically wheeling and dealing, is Bieniemy really that good an offensive coordinator? Is he not going into these interviews and overwhelming people? There's got to be a reason he's not being jumped at right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. Something's going on. This is the second or third year in a row.
Now, again, I'm seeing guys get jobs. I mean, Arthur Smith gets the Falcons job. Okay, is anybody overwhelmed by the Titans' offense? It's Derrick Henry handling the ball. I'm not overwhelmed there. Dan Campbell gets the Lions job. I mean, I like Dan Campbell as a football player, but what's Dan Campbell done as a coach? The Eagles hired the offensive coordinator from the Colts, Nick Sirianni. I mean, so yeah, I got to tell you, I'm a little curious why Eric Bieniemy, who's been the hot candidate for at least 2 years now, why is he not getting a job? And you're going to hear the rumor for other reasons, which I hope doesn't happen.
Well, let's see what happens. Time will tell.
Yeah, excuse me. So Hard Rocket Sports, Jeff and Tom, we got a lot to talk about football-wise. We'll get to some baseball. I want to get you Met fans out there. Let's send out a little GoFundMe for your past general manager.
What's the matter, dude? I don't follow the Mets at all. You know that, but the things that I heard him say that when they asked him about that, and he says no, and then they we have the screenshots, and he's like, well, those were just whatever pictures. Only the one was mine or something like that. Like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
Yeah, they were saying their stock photos and
yeah.
He texted
and then
her
he's 60 times in a row.
62 times. And she didn't answer. Like, after the first 20, you got to go, all right, I guess I'm not getting a response here. You go 60 times. But I'll say this. I did find it a little
persistent.
Yes, I would say the guy's a persistent guy. So if you like that in your man, there's your guy. But I'll tell you this. First of all, why did she not want to come out about this for the last 4 years? She's out of the game. She's back in her country, and then all of a sudden, the guy gets the job as the Jets general manager, and then they released the story. To me, it's dumb. He should get fired 100%. But to me, if you weren't going to say anything before now, why did you wait? I just don't understand that.
I don't understand that stuff either. With crimes like that, why are these people wait? It makes no sense. Not saying that you have to be the sacrificial lamb with all of this, but if you you want to go after this guy because he did something to you and then take whatever punishment, or not punishment for you, but when I mean punishment, abuse and ridicule and everything else that you may take as a victim, because you know that people give that shit to the victims, which isn't right. But, you know, maybe you're preventing him from doing it to a kid or another woman or something like that.
Listen,
nature. You know, get him where he belongs, behind bars. Man.
Listen, I'm again, yeah, you get what you deserve, and hold on a second, you get what you deserve, and he deserved to get fired. What he did was inappropriate and wrong, and you know, it wasn't like they had any sort of relationship, or they had a relationship, and he was sending stuff back and forth, and you know, but what he did was wrong. I just don't understand the waiting of the 4 years. Doesn't change the outcome. He should still get fired. Don't get me wrong. I'm just curious why he waited that long. I'm
surprised that nobody else has popped up and said, you know, me too. And
yeah,
did it to me.
Sure and you know what the funny part was? You know, usually you see stuff like that, Jeff, with a guy who's had a relationship with a woman. You know, maybe they work together. He met this girl. He was physically in her presence for about 30 seconds on an elevator ride up Yankee Stadium. He didn't even meet her. He was just in an elevator. They exchanged cards, and that was the only interaction they ever had in person.
And then he did that.
And then he started with his, you know, senator. He X'd her out. I think that's like a conversation about maybe getting together, and then he immediately sent the pictures of a junk.
Wow, man, what a smooth guy, huh?
Yeah, he said, "You want to go for coffee?" She said, "Yeah, maybe." Well, here's Mike Johnson. Wow. It's a hell of a move, Jeff. I give the guy credit.
Well, listen, I'm glad that you told me about this, because if somebody asked me to go for coffee, I'll be like, no, thank you, man. No thanks. Oh, don't send me I'm going to block this number. Don't send me no pictures.
Yeah, again, but yeah. I mean, listen, it starts to reek of, a way to get money, and again, he deserved to be fired. It doesn't change the whole thing. It just comes off odd that she didn't want to say anything. The guy from ESPN knew about this for 4 years. And it's funny part, the guy from ESPN who broke the story actually put out some sort of a recommendation, like great hire. He knew about this, but kind of just put the story, you know, kind of recommended the guy for the job.
Really?
Yeah, it's totally.
And now this is the guy that broke the story that like this is what happened. He knew he had prior knowledge to this.
Yes. So instead of saying nothing,
so maybe he was getting money too. He should be looked at also.
It's all funny to me, Jeff. I got to be honest with you, but
come on, man. If you know of a crime like that, you need to step up and say something.
Well,
it's actually not. You know what? It's not even a crime. You shouldn't even say it's a crime. It's just stupidity. But you just don't know who else he might have done it to, and where he could take it with somebody else. Yeah.
So I mean, listen, I don't blame the Mets organization, but it comes off. You know, it comes off kind of crazy that last year was they hire Beltran to manage, and all of a sudden he gets fired because of the cheating scandal, and then this year it's this guy and his Johnson scandal. I mean, it's just craziness. So, but we got a lot of baseball to get to. I want to talk a little bit about the DJ LeMahieu, Corey Kluber getting signed, Don Sutton passing. I want to talk about, you know what the funny thing about Don Sutton, Jeff, and I want to play a little video clip of Don Sutton. The guy never, ever, ever missed a start in his career.
Yeah, I know. I read some of the stuff about him. It was pretty incredible, man.
I mean, 23 years, 756 starts. Only Cy Young and Nolan Ryan made more starts. The guy never missed a turn in the rotation.
Yeah, pretty sick, man.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I know he's not a flamethrower and all that, but 23 years, you think he wake up one day, he's got a case of hemorrhoids. You know, cut himself.
Why go there? Why go there? Why not like a bad elbow, bad shoulder?
Well, his
asshole is hanging out.
Just saying, 23 years, something bad had to happen. Even if your body is
so you pick hemorrhoids.
Well, I'm just saying it's he's an older man at that point.
If the guy burned his finger on his crack pipe, would have been a better one than hemorrhoids, man. Come on.
I'm just saying, but I think that's listen. I was never a big fan of Don Sutton getting in the Hall of Fame. But when you add all these other things that I saw, I mean, the guy did win 324 games. Pitched for 5 teams.
324 games?
Yeah. 324.
Tom, will you ever see another Major League Baseball player in our lifetime hit 324 wins?
I don't know. It's a great question because I went through the list last year, maybe early this year, or early last year when we had nothing to talk about, and we were talking about one of the pitchers, and there was like nobody even remotely close. And I don't know. I could bring it up, but yeah, no, I'll be surprised if we have another 300 game winner in our lifetime because guys just don't start enough games anymore. They just don't finish enough games anymore.
Yeah, I don't see it happening, man.
Yeah,
Really don't.
yeah. So I mean, obviously anything's possible, but like I said, guys are pitching 4 and 5 innings, and they're leaving a run behind or tied, and just not getting enough wins in the season. So I don't know. It's a good question, but Don Sutton passes, 75 years old, and second Dodger, Tommy Lasorda a couple of weeks back, and now Don Sutton. I've reached out to Tommy John. I want to get him on the show. I spoke to his girlfriend, and he's out of the hospital. Tommy was in the hospital with COVID.
Oh no, is he okay?
Yeah. She said he's home, feeling better. I reached out to see if I can get him on the show maybe next week in between the Super Bowl. I want to get to maybe get him on, talk a bit about Don Sutton and Tommy Lasorda. And speaking of the Super Bowl, don't forget, guys, is the big Hard Rocket Sports Super Bowl Trivia Contest, February the 4th. Jeff will put on his best Alex Trebek outfit, and you got to come on, answer 4 questions. We've already got a couple of candidates who've asked to be part of it. John Marhefka is going to be a contestant. My man Lou Pica is going to be a contestant. We're looking for about another. I'd like to get 10, and the first 5 people who win get the new Hard Rocket Sports T-shirt, courtesy of the Hard Rocket Sports Show. I'm sorry we can't do trips or any of that stuff, but maybe in the future.
Due to COVID, we can't do trips.
Yes, due to COVID. Not because
if it wasn't for COVID, there would be a trip. Absolutely.
Jeff's 100% right. So please, call Matt, Frank. Come on, guys. I'm looking for about another 6 or 7 or 8 guys or women to compete in the Hard Rocket Sports Trivia Contest. You get 4 questions. They go from easy to very hard. First person to answer all 4 gets first 5 people to answer all 4 get T-shirts. And Jeff will be
We're going to have to sit out off on the side and come up with some questions.
No, I've already got it working out, my man. I already got it worked out for you. So I will be dropping those off to you one of these days, or you can start if you want to put them on index cards, or you want to make some sort of a cheat sheet for yourself. That's up to you.
I think I'm going to go with the index cards. I remember Alex Trebek using the index cards and having them there.
So you're going to have 4 sets of cards. You're going to have one with the easy questions, one with the semi-easy, the one with semi-hard, and then the very hard questions. You will have.
You're going to break these down by categories, or would you feel as though it's easy and hard and everything else? Because I'll tell you right now, I'm going to be asking the questions.
Yes, you're handling it. It's all yours.
Okay.
So that's the guy you're going to go through, folks. That's February the 4th show. We'll be doing our Super Bowl breakdown. I got a couple of emails out trying to get some guests on. We'll dedicate it to the Super Bowl, which we do every year. I might do a Super Bowl Sunday show. It depends on what I'm doing in my personal life. Like I did last year. I had the day enough to myself, so I did it a couple hours on the air. But February 4th, join us for the Super Bowl preview show. And, of course, the Hard Rocket Sports Super Bowl Trivia Contest, hosted by our very own Mr. Jeff Tomlinski.
I'm looking forward to it, man. Yeah. I am looking forward to it.
So, Jeff, let's get into a little bit of the playoffs. And did you partake of any of the games last week? Do you have any immediate thoughts?
Yeah, I think with as far as the Buccaneers and the Saints game goes, I think that Drew Brees should be investigated for possibly betting on the Buccaneers. Because it seemed as though he did everything in his power to make sure that game stayed close, and it practically gave it to them with turnovers.
Let me ask you this question. Did we see Drew Brees turn into Peyton Manning? You know what I mean? That when we always ask the question, when does it go away? Did it go away?
Well, it certainly looked like it went away that day.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, that he went colorblind and he thought that white was black. Because that was pretty sad. But I will say this much. I think it was Monday. It was on ESPN, I believe, or NFL.com. And his wife was giving a rundown of injuries. He had another injury that not many people knew about. Something within his shoulder or something, or his elbow, something like that. So that might have been the reason And I also, for the day or two after that game,
Yeah.
everybody was like, well, he played his last game. He played his last game. He played his last game. Now you don't hear nothing. So, I mean, I don't know if he definitely played his last game. Is he sitting at home thinking about it?
That's what he said.
What the case is. Yeah, but you notice all of the talk about him playing his last game just stopped.
Well, I think, he came out and said, listen, I haven't made a decision yet. I'm going to go home, take a break, take a rest on it. I think he was hurt, but you know what? That's part of the game. The question, the guy came back, I think he had 11 broken ribs or something ridiculous.
Yeah, 11 broken ribs, plus his plantar fasciitis was, or whatever that tendon is, or whatever, it was ripped off his foot.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, he had that going on, and then he had something with his throwing arm. I believe it was a shoulder injury or elbow injury that he had. So he was a little beat up.
Right. So now here's the question. Does he want to crank that back up another year after all of that pounding and beating? I got to be honest with you. I don't see him coming back. I'll be honest. If I had to guess, and I'm strictly guessing, I think he walks away. He goes out, works for NBC, does some Notre Dame games for a couple of years, and then he'll be on Sunday Night Football when Chris Collinsworth retires or gets fired.
Yeah, it's a very good possibility because I don't. It's 3 years in a row. 3 or 4 years in a row that they got knocked out of the playoffs relatively easy, it seems.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know if it's going to continue.
Well,
I know I would have to think about it.
Well, I have to tell you, Jeff, now listen, I am not a Drew Brees fan. I've disliked him personally for a couple of reasons. I'll give the guy props of in this generation. He's, right up there with as good as any of them. Throwing the football for a guy who's basically 6'1". He's managed to have a great career throwing touchdowns. But there's a lot of talk, and I listened to a lot of it this week where people question, is he really a top 10 quarterback all time? And I have to agree and say no. Here's why: his record his record outside of the dome is not as good as obviously is in the dome. I think he's a product of the system and where he plays. Don't forget, the guy plays basically half his games, maybe more, indoors between his division, which, the Falcons have a dome. To be honest with you, I think the guy's a great quarterback. I would not put him in my top 10. And I think the last 4 years or so of missing and the playoffs, again to the playoffs and getting knocked out early, leaves a big shadow. I have to be honest with you. I think there's, again, Hall of Famer, absolutely. Great career, probably. But I'll tell you that, I would not put him in my top 10 of quarterbacks. No chance.
He's a top 10.
He's
a top 10 all-time quarterback. He's in all of the categories as top 10 quarterback.
I disagree.
You're disagreeing because you don't like the guy.
One Super Bowl.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, listen, you know what? I understand.
Judged on stats alone, he's a top 5 quarterback.
Again, you can compile. Again, it's not all. I always want to put stats in there, but I also want to look at how many championships did he get with all those stats.
Let me ask you something.
How come all those stats only one Super Bowl title?
I want an honest answer.
Sure, again.
So now, with all his stats and everything that he did, you're going to sit there and tell me that Eli's a better quarterback than him?
No, I didn't say he was.
I'm asking you.
I know. I never said if I had to pick between the two, I would take Brees. He's a better quarterback in the season. I can't argue that. I'm just putting this straight.
As long as you said that, I was waiting for you to go against that.
Here's my problem with Brees. All the early exits from the playoffs. Only played his prime all of his career in a dome, and I had one other point. The early exits, the dome, and again, one Super Bowl appearance. I'm sorry, Jeff, that's a knock.
Listen, Peyton Manning is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. He's only won 2 quarterbacks. Two Super Bowls. He lost one.
I got you.
Brett Favre, who's also one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game, only won 1 Super Bowl. John Elway went to the Super Bowl how many times? Maybe more than just about anybody else, except for Tom Brady, and he lost all of them except for 2. He won his final 2. So to me,
Mhm.
You know, as far as judging football players on their trophies,
Mhm.
championship trophies, I don't know. I don't put
No,
so
no,
much
no.
on it because you're going to tell me that a guy like Eli who won 2 is better than Brett Favre, is better than
No, no,
Rodgers,
it's
is better
part
than
of the
Breeze.
puzzle, Jeff. No, but it's not. It's not. You can't take just the stats or just the Super Bowls or just the amount of wins. You take it all and you put it all into a big pile and you go, okay, what do I got? When I'm done and I write the obituary for your career, what have you done? You know, what's it that you've done? Okay. So to me, the stats are good. Okay. He obviously he's a top in passing and yards and TDs and all that good shit. But then I look at, okay, a lot of early playoff exits, but he did play in the playoffs a lot. Okay, so there's a plus and minus, but only one Super Bowl appearance in all those years in a division that wasn't really great. You know, I got to be honest with you. That's a knock. Again, does it knock him out of the Hall of Fame? No. Does it knock him out from being a great quarterback? No. But is he in my top 10? Absolutely no way. He makes my top 10.
Well, I don't know about that. I think you're being a little picky with that one.
I'm not.
To say he's not a top 10.
He's not a top 10 quarterback. Let's put it this way. I'm only going to take it from the guys who we watched play in our era.
But
okay.
Well, that's basically only when the Super Bowl era started.
Okay, so
and they really got underway. You know,
but even before that, we didn't see a lot of the the earlier guys put in. But okay, I didn't see a lot of the guy who played for the Kansas City Chiefs back in the early.
Len Dawson.
Or Bart Starr. So I'm just saying, I'll take Bradshaw over him. I'm taking Starbuck over him. I'm taking Marino. I'm taking Elway. There's 4 guys. I'm taking Peyton. Brady, there's 6 off the top of my head. Haven't even gotten to deep thought about it. I got 6 guys I take off the top of my head. I'm not even thinking yet.
I don't know.
Come on, let's be honest. He's a great thrower of the football, but he didn't win enough for me to make my top 10. I'm not telling you that if the Giants picked him up 4 years ago, would I have not been happy? Sure, the guy can throw the football. There's no doubt, but would I have been concerned that he doesn't play his games indoors with the Giants? Yeah, absolutely. There's a big difference between Drew Brees indoors and Drew Brees outdoors.
Yeah, but you know what, Tom? You can't, just because you play a majority of games indoors, I understand the point you're trying to get, but I also look at it the other way. You can't, this is the team that, you sign with. You can't help if they play indoors or outdoors.
No, I got
unless you're specifically looking for a team that plays in the dome or a team that plays outside.
But you also have to factor in the guy's well above 500 in the dome, and like Louis said, he's slightly above 500 on the road. That's a big difference. Now I'd have to go through other quarterbacks and see how they played, inside and outside. Also, I have no idea, but the guy is a bit of a compiler in my book, and to be the last 3 years, Jeff, you had him up there. He's thrown for 4,000 yards. He's thrown for 5,000 yards, and he gets knocked out of the playoffs in the first round, second round every year against teams that he should be beating. They should have won last week.
I don't think, Tom, very rarely, if ever, did he get knocked out in the first round. He can not get knocked out in the divisional round a lot, without a doubt.
But that
almost every year he was getting knocked out in the divisional round.
He might not have been playing in the wild card round. So I'm just saying, right. So he made, to me, that his first round is his first game. It could have been second round of the playoffs, but they may have gotten the bye.
True. Without a doubt. I'll give you that. True.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. But again, I'm not telling you that he's a terrible quarterback or he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. He'll get in the Hall of Fame. He's put up a lot of great numbers. He's getting in. I'm just saying that I think we have to temper that a little bit by just on where he's played and the fact that he didn't seal with his numbers, Jeff. I mean, okay, let's throw Brady out. Eli's got 2. He managed to get 2. Peyton managed to get 2. Get me a second one. I mean, Rodgers, I'll tell you what, Rodgers is great, but get a second one. There's a little tinge on it for me. Go get a second one.
I don't think, Aaron, you could compare Aaron Rodgers. I agree with you there. I'll give you that one. I'm going to agree with you that one, only because for the career that he's had, you would think that he would have at least gotten to the Super Bowl, a little bit more.
Absolutely, 100%. That's the point of it for me with Breeze. So again, I'm not throwing him out with the bathwater. I'm just telling you, I would not run again. He'll never make my top 10. I'll take Brett Favre. There's a lot of quarterbacks that I would rather have before I get to Brady. I mean to Breeze. But again, I'm also a little biased. I'm going to admit to a little bias. I hate the little guy. I hate him. I do. I dislike him for a variety of reasons. So
well, I know why you dislike him, and it's not right.
No, that's bullshit. You know I'm right, but that's okay. But let's get to the weekend. He looked terrible. He played a very bad game. They came out lifeless, and they made every mistake possible. So, I'm telling you,
it's almost like he was trying.
Yeah. So, I mean, listen now. I'll go this way. I didn't think, especially in the first half, I thought Brady looked like Brady in the playoffs last year. But he rebounded, played a decent second half, threw a couple touchdowns, ran for one or dove in for one, and they move on. I mean, but that was a game of who made less mistakes, and the Bucs made less mistakes. They go into the NFC Championship game. Going to be an interesting one. We're gonna break down the game later, but let's talk about Tom Brady, Jeff. What was your assessment of Brady's play?
I think that the turnovers by Drew Brees definitely aided the Buccaneers. It was a rather slow going game before all of that happened, but where they ended up getting the turnovers, they were going deep into Saints territory.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think it helped them out a lot. I mean, Brady has the experience without a doubt. There was some good plays, but I mean, listen, I find it hard to give Brady any kind of credit. I can't stand that fucking guy.
I got it, but the guy is one. Let me tell you something, and I don't want to get too far ahead because I want to talk about that later. But the guy is one more win from going to the Super Bowl, being the only player to ever play be part of a team, the only team ever play in their host city. I mean, that would just be Belichick's got to be pulling his hair out of his head right now.
Well, listen, there's a lot of things that you got to look at. He's a quarterback that'll take his second team to the Super Bowl. He'll probably be the oldest quarterback to ever play in the Super Bowl.
I would think so, yeah.
There's a lot of different things that he's hitting firsts for. Listen, I just hope that he doesn't do it. That's all I can say. I hope Aaron Rodgers throws for about 700 yards.
Well, it's going to be an interesting game. We're going to break that game down a little bit. We're in Hard Rock and Sports. Jeff and Tom talking a little sports right now for you. We got still a lot of stuff to talk about. Still, we're going to get back to some baseball. I want to talk a little bit about documentaries. We got a lot to get to talk about a lot more football tonight. Then again, remember, guys, February 4th, we got our big Super Bowl trivia contest right here on the Hard Rock and Sports Show. Giving away T-shirts for the winners. Top first 5 winners get T-shirts with the big logo on it. So everybody, make sure you get in. So the other game I want to talk about is, let's see, Packers-Rams was a boring game. Packers Rams D didn't really show up the way I thought it would. Aaron Rodgers is just a machine when he gets going, and they have a lot of firepower. So, but not much of a game to talk about.
They but they didn't show that much of it against the Rams, and I'm going to tell you that worries me. That worries me.
Okay.
Playing the Buccaneers,
mm-hmm.
a one-off game, or a little off your game with Brady, and you can end up having a big problem.
Well, again, I want to break down that game a little bit, but you're right. I mean, the Packer team. Here's the thing. What I love about these four games, these 2 games, 4 teams, is anybody can win. I can see you can give me any combination of teams, and it would not surprise me. I mean, you got 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks, you got 2 of the best quarterbacks probably for the next 5 to 10 years in the league. If Mahomes plays, you have there's such intrigue with this game. We'll get to the spreads. I want to talk a little bit about all of that tonight, but let's just go back to, let me stick with the Bills and the Ravens right now. Did you get to see much of that game?
Some of it. I didn't watch as much of it as I would have liked to. I like the Bills, man. The Bills look sharp. When they get going, they look sharp. I think they're going to be able to give a good game to the Chiefs, especially if Mahomes is in there. But as far as the Ravens goes, with Lamar Jackson, he was out. He went out early with his concussion.
Mhm.
He got his head slammed into the fucking turf,
Dude, let
man.
me tell you something. Lamar Jackson proved me right. Thank you, Lamar. I thank you from afar. You've proven me right again. Here's a guy.
Oh God, here we go.
No, I'm serious.
No. It's listen. You can say whatever you want.
Mhm.
It's every single time that you get these little moral victories for yourself.
It's not a moral.
It just feeds the monster.
The
That's all I'm
guy,
gonna say.
the guy cannot throw the football from the pocket. If you force him to stay in the pocket and throw the football, you and I could do a better job. Here's the thing, and you could slap John Harbaugh in the mouth and Lamar Jackson. They played the same team in the playoffs again, and they ran the same exact game plan against them defensively, and they shut him down. They did not let him run wild. They kept him in the pocket, and he cannot throw the football. Put him as a running back, bring back the single wing, do something else, because this guy is not an NFL quarterback. I'm sorry.
You know what, Tom? This is the second or third year in a row that he got his team to the playoffs.
3 years. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you got to give him something.
Jeff, here's the thing. There's more teams in the playoffs now than ever before. Okay. They snuck in at the end. They got extra wild cards right now to get in. There's one. Two, there's a big drop off in talent in this league right now. Does it surprise me he got in the playoffs? No. Does it surprise me how he played? Yeah, no. Because you know why, Jeff? The problem with the guy like that is he feasts on the bad teams. And when you get a chance to play the good teams, they smack him in the mouth.
True, but let me ask you something. When his career is over, say he plays 9 years, right? And he gets to the playoffs 7 times in 9 years, and say he makes it to the Super Bowl once, but he loses. They're not going to turn around and say, well, he got knocked out in the first round, made the divisional round, made the Super Bowl, got knocked off in the first round, missed the playoffs 2 years in a row. They're going to say he played 9 years, made the playoffs 7, made it to the Super Bowl once, he lost. He was Pro Bowl quarterback 6 times. He threw for 35,000 yards and 270 touchdowns and 180 interceptions or whatever. You know, his line will be. Nobody's ever going to look back at it and say, you know, like that. He got knocked out early or whatever.
I won't call him a bust, Jeff, but you can't keep telling me he's an elite quarterback.
Oh, no. I don't think he's an elite quarterback.
But
I don't think any of these guys that run should be known as an elite quarterback because their career and seasons could be over in a heartbeat.
Listen, here's how bad it's gotten. Your boy Stephen A. Smith. Now, it's your boy. You follow him all the time.
Listen. Wait. I'm going to say right now, I have no boys, and definitely none of them named Stephen A.
Okay. No, I was kidding. The guy. If
I had a farm down south in Alabama in 1860. I might have had him.
Do you remember Steve Smith, the receiver?
Yes, I remember the name, of course.
Okay, so Steve Smith Jr., as he's referred to now, is an analyst on the NFL Network, and I watched him on there, and the guy had the audacity, the absolute audacity. His balls were this big. He got up there and said, "Well, here's the problem. It's not Lamar Jackson's fault. It's offensive coordinator Greg Roman's fault. His passing game is too simple." Stop. Give it a second. I'm waiting for the sky to fall. He came out and said it's not Lamar Jackson's fault that he can't throw the football. Greg Roman's offense is too simple, and it doesn't make Lamar Jackson successful.
Jeez. Okay.
So maybe it's simple because your quarterback stinks.
I think
you got to work around it.
I think Lamar Jackson gets into the playoffs for his first 3 years of his career simply because he's kind of a one-trick pony, but he's not. He can throw the ball somewhat, but he's a runner. It's because of his running and his legs that he's getting into the playoffs.
100%.
Once they figure out how to make a game plan to stop him, which not for nothing in 4 years they really haven't, or 3 years they really haven't. He's been in the playoffs. But once they figure out a way to stop him, then they'll stand a chance of keeping him out. But the guy can't throw the ball.
I agree.
Can't throw the ball.
The Bills proved it. They did it 2 years in a row. Did the same thing. They forced the guy to throw the ball, didn't give him the opportunity to run, and he was terrible. And again, don't tell me the guy's a great quarterback. Tell me he's a great athlete. I won't argue that point. Tell me he's a great runner of the football. I'll agree. But he barely beat the Titans, who have a terrible defense, scored 20 points in a game against a terrible defense, squeaked by the Titans, and then got smacked in the mouth by the Bills. I'm tired of the Lamar Jackson is a great quarterback thing. So if anybody out there thinks Lamar Jackson is a great quarterback, do me a favor, go watch another show. I got nothing about it. So
I don't believe he should be considered a great quarterback. I agree with you there.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I think the better quarterback was the kid playing across the field from him. I think Josh Allen has played well. Yes, he's got some up and down streaks, but now that he's got Stephon Diggs, that's given him a real a number one receiver with Cole Beasley. That's a good football team, and that's a good quarterback who, if he doesn't get hurt doing stupid shit, will be a force in this league for the next decade or better.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree with you.
Yeah, so I mean, that was a game I watched because I hate the Ravens. I hate John Harbaugh, and I think Lamar Jackson's overrated. And Jeff, you know what? He's won. Here's the thing: if the guy gets hurt and has to play, and again, I'm not comparing to Daniel Jones, but when Daniel Jones got hurt and couldn't have the option or give the illusion of being able to run, it set him back, and he couldn't throw the football well enough with a hurt leg. Could you imagine that Lamar Jackson gets hurt, pulls a hamstring, blows out an ankle, and then has to rely on staying in the pocket to throw football? He's done.
Well, he's done. He don't have the arm strength.
Yeah. So
it don't look like he has accuracy, and not for nothing. The Ravens, I don't know if you know this, just released the other day RG3, one of the original running quarterbacks, so to speak.
Yeah.
And we see how his career has done.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that was he got hurt in that day, and that was it.
It was the start of his downfall, and it was in his first year.
Yeah, that was basically the end of his career. You're 100% right. Hold on, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to queue up something here. Why is it doing this? Why is it acting crazy tonight? Anyway, again, Hard Rock and Sports, Jeff and Tom. I want to talk a little.
Too busy and important
to
live with pain or an injury. NovaCare Rehabilitation's physical therapists are here.
Sorry. I want to get into a little bit of the Chiefs-Browns game. Did you see any of that one, Jeff?
Parts of it, definitely did not see as much of that one as I was the Saturday game, right?
That was the Saturday game, yeah.
I saw more of the Sunday games than the Saturday games. I think I watched some of it, but I think I fell asleep.
Okay.
It was entertaining from what I could see, but not as good as it was the week before.
Yeah, I got to watch every game. I watched them. The only thing I missed was the end of the very, very end, the second half of the Bucs Saints. That was Sunday night, and I watched it again on replay. So, but now obviously the big news out of that, Patrick Mahomes played hurt early. Jeff must have had some sort of a leg injury. I didn't see what it was. But then he got hurt and got what they first initially said was a concussion, and then they've backed off that, even though he's in concussion protocol. Did you see the play?
I remember it being on, but I think that's when I might have fell asleep because I remember all of a sudden they put the other quarterback in.
Yep. We'll get to him in a second, but let me show you the play in which he gets hurt. And there's a bunch of different views of it, Jeff. I want to let you see it. I can't see where he hurt his head. So I want you to take a look at it, and hopefully the one I got here is the one that's queued up, and watch his reaction when they lift him off the ground. It's very interesting. Watch this.
Running the option. Deep set. Oh, that is close. I think they're going to mark him a little short. Oh, no. That's Mac Wilson.
Watch him.
Uh-oh. Oh, Jim. Uh-oh. He is absolutely dizzy.
He can't even walk there, but now.
No, he knows. No, he don't even know where the fuck he is.
Yeah. Now
look at his face.
Watch the replay. Now, no helmet to helmet hit. He's missed. Right now, watch his head. It never hits the ground.
You know what, Tom? I mean, unless he has some other kind of issue or something, no, it never hit the ground. Maybe whiplash.
It's just weird because I watched it 100 times and I'm going, the only thing I see is the guy kind of wrings his neck. So yeah, I see the same thing you are. But
I mean, I don't even know if you could consider that whiplash. I don't even know. Would you consider that whiplash?
no, whiplash to me is when you get that
Your
jolt.
head goes back and it, you know, whiplash, just like it says.
Yeah, so they initially said he was in concussion protocol. Then they said, well, he might not have had it, but I watched the guy get up. He didn't know where he was.
No,
He didn't know his name. He didn't know if he was at a baseball game or he was fishing.
no, he got nervous. He didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, so I mean, now that was an interesting football game. So I watched that game, and first off, Mahomes was not Mahomes, and the Browns hung in there, and they had a chance, Jeff, to win this game, especially when he went out. First thing there was a play about it was maybe late first half. I'm going to show you the play. Now, this was the turning point of the game easily. This was easily the turning point of the game. Let me get it queued up here. Bam, 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 bam. And then you can comment on it when you see it. Share that. Ba-da-da-dee, da-da-da-doo. And let's push play. So first we got to get rid of the ad. Sorry. Got to get through the ad first, Jeff. But and I want to talk to you about the rule for this play afterwards as well. So give it a second. And here it comes.
Defense was in the last 2 minutes of the first half defensively, allowed the fewest points, but the Browns are trying to defy that. There's a hit at the 5 to Higgins. He lost the football.
Yeah, I remember. I saw that play.
Now, again, the guy goes and makes the right play, goes diving for the end zone. Now, he gets hit in the head, and it's spearing that doesn't get called. First off, that's a turning point because if he scores there, it's 16-10. They're going to halftime. Instead, the Browns the Chiefs get the ball. They go down the field. They score a field goal. It's 19-3. It changed the whole momentum of the game. Now, here's the thing, Jeff. The rule states that if the offensive team fumbles the ball forward in or through the end zone, it's a touchback and the ball is given to the defense. I got to ask you, I've never liked this rule. Most people don't like this rule. Is this rule unfair?
Yeah, I mean, in that situation, I didn't like it either. There was a lot going on. It's the playoffs, but somebody was going to be unhappy if they called everything. They would have said, "Well, you should let them play. It's the playoffs. Don't be so strict." And it ends up that the Chiefs ended up getting the ball. I thought the guy was almost even out of bounds at the time.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, all that being equal, I won't even debate in bounds around. I'm just saying is this: why should the defensive team benefit from that? To me, I think that the Browns should have kept the ball. Maybe they should have got it back at the 20-yard line, but why are we rewarding the defensive team and giving them the ball on a fumble? Now, if you fumble the ball in the game and it went out of bounds, you would get the ball back at the spot you fumbled. Why is it different if it goes into the end zone? I think it's a terrible rule, and I think it changed the course of this game. Now, the Browns had a chance to win. They played, they couldn't stop the backup quarterback on the last drive. The guy went down and he ran for a 13 or 14-yard first down, threw a fourth down pass to ice the game. The Browns punted when they should have went for it. So, they didn't deserve to win the game, but this was a big momentum swing, Jeff, right there.
Yeah, it definitely hurt them without a doubt.
Oh yeah, it is no doubt on that one. So, it was a good game. I gotta tell you, all the games were decent football games. The Rams Packer game wasn't great, but the rest of the games were good football games. Was it this game? No, the Bills game nearly won. Well, I should have won $250, but I chickened out. I wanted to bet that Stephon Diggs would score the first touchdown, and he did. And if I had bet $25 because I had it up, I had the bet set, and I went, I don't want to waste the money. And if I had bet I know. Now it sounds funny now, but at the time I was like, I don't know. How do I know he's going to score the first touchdown? I hate these prop bets. And I pulled the bet back. I actually pulled the bet away and didn't bet it. And sure enough, he scores first $257 or something like that. I would have won. Yeah, what are you gonna do, Jeff? Chicken shit. I am. I get it. Believe me.
It is what it is.
Yeah, good football games, but again, no tragedies. Now the big question is going to be: does Mahomes play this week? And if he doesn't, how much is that swinging? Now, right now, the line is Chiefs favored by 3 at home. Does that line tell you that they think Mahomes is playing, or do you think that line's telling you they think Mahomes is not going to play?
I think it says Mahomes isn't playing.
I agree. I think that line would be 7 points or
7 to 10 points.
Yeah, I think it's a fairly even game. I think Buffalo's a good team.
Without Mahomes, it's a fairly even game, I believe. With Mahomes, I think if he gets off to a good start and they could hold him off and that defense plays, but Chiefs have a soft defense.
I listen. I won't argue that point. I firmly believe that the Bills are the more complete team right now. I think Kansas City is actually, obviously a good team. It's very hard to repeat. I don't think Mahomes is 100% even without the head injury. I'm curious about the head injury in the sense that, Jeff, it wasn't caused by a hit. So that's what scares me about him getting back. Is there something in there that getting his head wrestled, jostled? You know what I'm saying? Like it's weird, but I think that line is very light. If Mahomes plays in that game, I'd be jumping all over the 4-point line, that 3-point line.
Well, one, I would like to see that play again in fast motion. I'll have to look it up and look at it at full speed, because in slow motion, you can't tell if his head whipped, and it was a bad angle. They didn't show. I mean, you could see that his head didn't hit the ground, but you just didn't get the whole, at least from my view here, maybe because of the banner, I didn't get the whole view of his head. But that could have just been the shot that was taken at the time.
Hold on, I can take the banner out. Hold on, I'll take the banner. Well, I'll take the banner off for you. Brand, let's go.
Make this screen bigger myself. Okay, let's see what happens.
Okay, so let me see if I can play this now for you and make this a little better. What do you think? Ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let it play. There's a whole bunch of different views, full speed. Let it run for a minute, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay.
The option. Deep set. Oh, that is close. I think they're going to mark it a little short. Oh, no. That's Mac Wilson. He's down, Jim. Uh-oh. Oh, Jim. Uh-oh. He is absolutely dizzy.
No, he definitely don't know where the fuck he is there.
Yeah.
See in his eyes.
You know what, Tom?
I
know this may sound stupid, but just a thought. Watch now. He has his arm around him, and he kind of pulls him. You know what I mean? I wonder if that. There. I wonder if that had anything to do with it. If maybe he cut his air off for a second.
Anything's
you know what I mean? And I mean, what else?
What you're saying? He kind of bent his head forward, and his back was arching away from him.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
That's kind of the only thing I see that possibly could be.
Because, I mean, right there, he looks like he's okay again. Well, when they showed him in the tent.
Yeah, like during the game, if you watch, like 5 minutes later, he's running to the tunnel. He was literally running to the tunnel. Then they announced he will not be back. He was concussion protocol. Now, they didn't say he had a concussion. They just said he's in concussion protocol.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it was a chance that when he got tackled, they pulled him.
Yeah.
Like kind of extended his neck a little bit. Maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know, because I didn't see any violent whiplash move. I didn't see him hit his head. No kind of hit to his head at all. I don't know.
No, I agree. Jeff, I agree wholeheartedly. I don't know how he got hurt. Obviously, he could barely stand up when he was first getting to the ground. So something happened.
Yeah, he wasn't in good shape.
But so let's look at this. Let's look at this game two ways, Jeff. Let's look at it. Mahomes plays this game. You got two of the best young quarterbacks. Maybe would you go out and say put on a limb and say two of the best under 5-year quarterbacks in the league right now?
I think you could say two of the better quarterbacks in the league without a doubt. I mean, it definitely going to be watch them. They're two young quarterbacks on two teams that are relatively young, coming up and coming teams. One has already arrived, so to speak, and it may be the Manning Brady series for the fucking 2020s. You know?
Yeah, there might be this might be the next 5 years. You might see these guys 3 times in the championship game. That's exactly right. It's a good point.
There is a lot of young quarterbacks in the AFC, so there could be a couple different rivalries happening. You know, Just got to see what happens.
No, I agree. I think it's a good. If Mahomes plays, this is a good football game. I think they play differently if Henny had a quarterback, but with Mahomes, if he's healthy, Kelsey, Tyreek Hill is a beast. They have Sammy Watkins. They have so many weapons on this team. I do think this defense a little suspect. I do think you can run on them. So
they're soft.
Yes. So Buffalo could take advantage, and Buffalo's got a lot of firepower. They can throw the football. They can run the football. The kid's a hell of a good quarterback. They're healthy right now. You know, if I was a betting man on this game, I'll be honest with you, even with Mahomes, I like the Bills in this one, Jeff. I haven't picked it yet, but if I'm going to go ahead and pick it now, I'm picking the Bills to win this game fairly close, with Mahomes or not.
Yeah, listen, I would not be shocked if the Bills won this game. I mean, personally, I would excuse me, I'm sorry. There was a little bit of dinner. I would actually think that the Chiefs would be the better pick. But with Mahomes, iffy, because nobody's coming out and saying Mahomes is fine either.
No.
You know, nobody's saying anything about him. So that leaves a lot of suspect right there, you know.
Even if he plays, Jeff, he can't be 100%. I mean, he was already hobbling on a bad leg. And now he's, again, do they need to practice at this point in the career, in the season? Probably not. I don't think missing a week of practice hurts him, but, there is something to be said. The guy's nicked up a little bit. I think you're facing a fairly healthy team that I think is on a bit of a run right now. I think this Bills team is just geared right now as a strong, solid football team. I don't think they're great, but I think it's a solid team.
Yeah, I could go with that.
So yeah, I mean, but I'm gonna pick the Bills. I'm gonna pick the Bills to win by a touchdown in this one. You want to venture to make a pick?
Yeah, you know what? I would like to see the Chiefs win because I would like to see somebody else have a dynasty for a while. But I would have no problem with the Bills winning.
Okay.
But just for the sake of the show and to make it interesting, I'm going to take the Chiefs.
Okay, so you're going Chiefs. I go Bills. I would tell you this. Normally, when it gets to this point, I'm praying for one team to win or a team to lose because, I would, even though my team's out of it, I would rather see a certain guy win, or there's certain teams or players that I don't want them to win a Super Bowl. This is 1 year. I have to be honest with you. Whoever wins, whoever's in the Super Bowl, it will not matter to me. I'm happy. There isn't one guy I would say I hope he doesn't win.
Oh well, for me, that's got to be Brady.
Well, yes, I got that. You're not going to root for Brady, and we'll certainly get to Brady now after their. We might.
You know what?
We'll take a little break.
Yeah, I'm getting a phone call. I got to take this.
Go ahead. What you should do.
Continue on for 2 minutes or so.
No problem. So when Jeff gets back, we'll get to the second game. But for now, let's do some other stuff right now while we're waiting for Jeff to come back. Let's do the DJ LeMahieu. Guys, I to all people out there who are music fans, I know it's a Hard Rock and Sports Show, and I also want to give props out to our good friends at RFL Records. They made a big announcement. They're about to make a big announcement. They have a lot of stuff going on. And I just want to give a shout out to John and everybody, Doug and Sam and everybody at RFL Records and all their amazing bands. So guys, do me a favor, go out and support our dear friends at RFL Records, rflrecords.com. So many great bands, Hydrogen and Bay Bang and all these. I mean, After the Fall and Corners of Sanctuary. So many great bands. I can barely keep up with it. Do me a favor. Support these guys, and like I said, there's some big news coming out of there. But there's just not a lot of great meat in the music industry right now. No concerts are scheduled. There's very little albums coming out because people don't want to put out albums because they can't go out and support it. So be patient. We'll try to bring it into you. I know it's turned into the sports show instead of the Hard Rock and Sports Show, but we're doing our best to keep it. A little even keeled. Also, don't forget next week. I'm not sure what we're going to do. Obviously, we'll be here doing a show, but I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do. A little Super Bowl, but we'll do a Super Bowl preview in a couple weeks. But next week's going to be an interesting show. because I'm not sure what we're going to talk about yet. I haven't pre-planned it out. But when we do start talking football again, we'll be on the February 4th show. And that night, you'll be able to win a Hard Rockin' Sports t-shirt with this logo on it. They are being made right now. I'm hoping to have them next week in my meaty little hands.
Speaking of getting something in your meaty little hands,
yeah.
What's going on with that guitar?
You know, Jeff, the next batch comes in January 31st.
Really?
Yeah, that's I cannot get an answer on when my number will pop up. So I basically said if it doesn't come on this one, I'm pulling back my interest in it, and I will maybe search for something else.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah, I put the order in on October the 9th.
Jesus
It is
Christ.
now January 21st, and I am no closer to that guitar than I was that day.
Wow.
So, yeah, so I'm definitely, I'm absolutely definitely not. I'm giving it till the 31st. If I don't get contacted to say that the guitar is ready to be purchased, I'm pulling my my thing. But guys, February 4th, you can come on the show. We got a couple of guests. We got a couple of contestants already. And you can compete. First 5 winners get T-shirts with this beautiful logo on it. I am also ordering mugs, not mugs, shot glasses, hats, and a few other items. But again,
you got to order something. You got to order something for the ladies, something for the wives.
Well, the T-shirts, I have ladies' T-shirts coming. What would you suggest for the wives, Jeff?
Thongs. You got to draw the women crowd in. You got to get thongs.
Well, I think the logo might be too big for a thong. There ain't much.
That's okay.
Not much fabric on the thong, Jeff.
That's okay. We got to take this to another. We got to take this to the college campuses.
Would this be on the front of the thong or the back of the thong?
It really doesn't fucking matter.
It doesn't matter. All right, I will get them on the thongs, and I will let you pass them out. You will be the official thong passer outer.
All right.
Does that work for you?
Yeah, I'll be in jail soon. After I get out of the hospital.
And after you get out of the divorce
my ass.
Yes, at a divorce court. Yes, I agree. But again, guys, February 4th, Jeff will be playing the part of a contestant. I'm sorry, MC.
I got to come up with a name now.
We'll have to set you up. I'm going to have theme music behind you.
How about Wink Trebek?
There you go, Wink Trebek. There you go. Jeff will have his bow tie on, and he will be reading from his cards, and he is in charge of that whole segment, so he can ask any question he wants to ask. Oh, you're not going to wear that, are you? You'll only ruin it. That thing on.
I'm going to tighten it up. I'm going to make it like one of those kufis.
Hey, let me ask you this question. Speaking of Muslim, a great segue. Before we talk about the Brady Aaron Rodgers matchup, I heard your football coach.
He's not my football coach.
Why is he not your football coach?
Because he's Muslim.
Oh, so you're against him?
Get him the fuck out of here. Put him on a plane and point him towards a building. Get him out of here. 3 days ago,
you texted me. He's coach of the year. He's taking us to the promised land. Now he's really going to the promised land.
Here's my problem with it. Okay?
Oh, there we go. Go ahead. Okay. I'm all ears on this one.
Okay. I think the Jets tried too hard to get that minority hire. And I'm not going to say that they're doing it for attention or anything, because I don't believe that.
Okay.
But, I mean, listen, this guy was evidently a mostly sought after with a lot of teams. So a lot of teams were going after him. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, it's just ironic that the first Muslim head coach in NFL history would be on the New York Jets. It's like, what else could you expect? What else is next? It's just unbelievable. What does he hire? A Jewish offensive coordinator or something? And they start duking it out on the sideline if things aren't going good. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Just the New York Jets, once again, being the New York Jets. You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing.
You know something, don't you? Because I can see the smirk starting to form.
No. I'm blindsided by this because here's what I came on. And I heard the guy interviewed today, And the one thing I've heard about now, this is a hire that 99% of Jet fans are thrilled with. So if it fails, I don't want to hear Jet fans later saying, "I knew it." I don't want to hear.
I'm not going to say that because I think from what I understand, what I read, I think it's going to be a decent hire for the New York Jets.
Okay, so you leave me again. Another great segment. Another great segue, Jeff. Here's the thing. I have no idea. You have no idea. None of us have any idea what kind of head football coach Robert Saleh is going to be, because he's never done it. He's been a very good defensive coordinator. The best thing I've heard. Here's the thing I hear about it. I don't hear he's got high football IQ. I don't hear he's a great teacher. I don't hear any of these praises. What is the one thing you hear about this guy? And it's the only thing that people talk about. He's got a lot of energy.
Yeah, I've heard that.
The guy's got tremendous energy. And I watched the highlights. You've watched the highlights. He's jumping on the sideline. He's diving on people. He's going back and forth. Is he going to be Rex Ryan? No, Rex Ryan had a ton of energy. Rex had some success, but Rex couldn't coach. Rex ultimately could not coach a football team.
Well, Rex Ryan would have been better off as just strictly a defensive coordinator. We know 100%, that.
100%.
Just it's how it is.
Yeah. So I don't know if this is a good hire or a bad hire. I have no idea whether or not he's going to be. Here's the thing that scares me a little bit. I thought he did a great job this year with a team that was decimated by injuries. He still had like a number 4, number 5, 6 team defense in the league. He's bringing over the San Francisco offense, or a version of it, that's supposed to be very quarterback friendly. Yet that offense never made Jimmy Garoppolo a star.
Well, Jimmy Garoppolo was another one. This is why maybe he wants to keep Sam Darnold. Jimmy Garoppolo was constantly getting fucking hurt, just like Sam Darnold.
Right. So, again, he said a lot of nice things today. He told a very touching story about 9/11, how 9/11 is what pushed him to be a head football coach, going to be a coaching football. His brother was lost on 9/11, and then 9 hours later, he popped up. And, so it's a very touching story. He seems like a very nice guy. But, again, I'm not hearing a lot of people say, hey, this guy's got a great football IQ. Hey, this guy is a great motivator. And I think that is one of the things that you are hearing. So I apologize for that. But all I'm hearing is this guy's tremendous energy. Todd Bowles and Adam Gase, they had no energy. And they couldn't coach, and I agree with that. But I don't know where they're headed with this guy as a coach. I hope the guy does well, because he seemed like a nice guy.
It would be nice to watch them do something once in a while instead of just be out of it by the fucking first week of October, without a doubt. But you also want to see a coach that comes in with some longevity and somebody that could initiate a program there, and that makes other people want to come. That's another reason too why, if they were to get Deshaun Watson, okay, and with the money that they have under the cap, they could get some other people in there.
Well, the problem is
that team.
Correct, but he was Deshaun, like you're right. Next year, I think he's team friendly, but going forward, he eats up a lot of the cap. But
yes, he does.
But again, I think if Saleh turns out to be the right guy, and I think what teams are looking for now is that everybody wants the head coach to be the CEO of the company. Don't run the defense, don't run the offense, run the team. You're seeing that with a lot of the new hires now. I'll say Joe Judge from the Giants has been a CEO. He takes care of the offense and the defense. He doesn't sit in just the defensive room because he's a defensive coach. Robert Saleh needs to be that kind of guy too. That's what teams seem to want now, and I think that's the right way. Head coaches need to run the team, not run the defense and then turn the offense over to somebody else and turn you back to it. It doesn't work that way.
Well, the head coach should have the final say on both sides of the ball.
100%.
But you want a strong offensive coordinator, a strong defensive coordinator. This way, if you turn around and say, all right, listen, we're having problems on the offense. I'm going over there. We're going to do this. Take over here.
I agree.
And you need to know that when you leave that position, that you don't have to be there for every single play that's called, that your defensive or offensive coordinator, whatever the case is, is able to make adjustments and continue the game and continue with a good team, so to speak, out there.
Yep.
And although I understand that you want somebody that knows both sides of the ball, I mean, in the past, some of the things that Rex Ryan did, where he was like, "Oh, there's an offense out there," and he wouldn't even bother going into the offensive room.
Right.
I think it's just wrong.
Exactly, and that's the point.
Wrong.
Yeah, 100%. You're the head coach. You're not the defensive coordinator. It's not the right way. So listen, the guy said a lot of great things. He sounds like a straight up guy, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can build. I think he's in for a little bit for the short term, a big fix. I don't know. They could solve a big problem by bringing in Deshaun Watson, but they're going to give up a lot to get him. And then then turn down. Then it's a question what you do.
You got to see too. I mean, listen, the Texans, they have made some historically fucked up trades, so to speak.
Yeah.
Don't you think? You get rid of that receiver and you take that running back from Arizona that wasn't doing anything.
The guy made that trade and got fired. So that's the good.
This is true too.
I don't expect them to get fleeced. I think that the problem for them is Deshaun Watson has basically come out and said, "I want to go to two teams." He said for sure he wanted to go to Miami, and now he's given an inkling he'll go to the Jets. I ultimately think he's going to Miami. To be honest with you, I think he wants to play for Flores, and I think he wants to be in that lifestyle, that being down there. But it will not surprise me if he winds up in New Jersey with the Jets. I just think the Jets have too many holes that they need to fill, and ultimately,
Tom. Maybe he looks upon it as a challenge.
Oh, absolutely, sure. That's what you'd like to see, Jeff. I'd like to see guys like that who say, "I want to go to the tough. I want to go to the tough place to win and turn that franchise around."
Yeah,
but that's the problem with sports. They don't want to do that. You get the James Hardens of the world or the LeBron James of the world who want to go to a team with four of the superstars so they can make life easy and win a championship. I want the guy who wants to go to a team with no superstars and win a championship. That's the guy I want to root for.
Listen, as much as I hear you and agree with you on that, you got to remember you're talking about basketball, and
I got you.
They do things a lot differently over there than any other sport.
100%, Jeff. That's why we don't really get into basketball around here, and you're 100% right about it. But like I said, again, if there's ways to go about it, you could go in to get the quarterback, and bring in Watson and overpay for him because you're going to overpay, and then try to build around him with free agents and lower draft picks, and that's possible to do that. The other way is to keep Sam Darnold or bring in another veteran in, save your draft picks, build for a long term, and build through the draft. It's two ways to do it. Which way the Jets go, we'll see. It's going to be interesting, and we'll talk about it every week because it's going to be a couple of weeks. It'll be the Super Bowl, and then next thing you know, we'll be at the free agency, and then the draft.
Yeah, I'm going to look forward to it, man.
Yeah, me too. As always, hopefully we'll be able to get together this year and do the draft together like we've done in the past, but we'll see what COVID allows, and we'll get to it. Let's see. Let's get back to the NFL playoffs. I want to talk a little about this weekend's Bucks Packer game in Lambeau. It is the early game, I believe. My notes. Let me check my notes on that.
It's not important at this time of the year because something else with that game is not important, and that's that you're going to have two quarterbacks that are not going to have the cold weather really affect them. Both quarterbacks that cut their teeth up in the fucking icy north, so to speak. Although I may give the nod to Aaron Rodgers for overall playing games in the cold because Green Bay cold has got to be a lot more cold than fucking New England cold, man.
Cold's cold, but they're talking about 29 degrees, 50% possibility of snow. That's a 3 o'clock. Surprisingly, this is the 3 o'clock game, not the 6:05 game. The Bills Chiefs of the late game. To me, this is a marquee matchup. You got two good football teams. We got a team, one franchise that's a legendary franchise in the Packers. You got a guy who's going for the opportunity to go to his 10th Super Bowl, with the chance to win his 7th, which to me is, and a chance for Tampa Bay to play Super Bowl in their host city. Jeff, there's so much to talk about with this game and the possibilities. I'll give you my picks in a minute, but just on the Brady Aaron Rodgers matchup, this is the marquee matchup of the weekend.
Yeah, I would have to say. I think both matchups are good for a lot of different reasons.
Mhm.
You have two up-and-coming teams. On one side, in the AFC, you got two grizzled vets. In the NFC, each closer to the end of their career than they may want to admit. Maybe even Aaron Rodgers with his last year in Green Bay. You don't know.
37 years old. He'll be 38 next year.
Just going to play someplace else because of what was his name? Drew Lock, whatever the fuck his name is. No,
Julian Love.
Julian Love, the quarterback that they took in the second round.
Yeah.
So you don't know what's going to happen, but if he wins, I would say it's going to be awfully hard to get rid of him.
Well, the guy's probably on his way to winning the MVP. Has a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Now, I give the advantage to the weather to Green Bay only because this is now while Brady's played and Gronk has played it up in New England and it's cold in New England. The rest of that team plays in Miami, plays in Tampa all year, so they're not fighting the adversity. I think if the elements get involved, I like the Packers better. I think the Tampa has a better defense if it shows up, especially the front line. And if you watched that game last week, two things came out of me from them. The linebacker number 45, Devin White, was all over the field, complete absolute monster. And Leonard Fournette played a great football game. And
if Jacksonville was watching that game, they're not happy.
Jeff, let me tell you something. You ever watch those guys when they're early in their career and they're young and they do stupid things and they don't play to their potential? It almost looks like, bam, it clicked. And the guy played a good football game. He made a bunch of nice plays. And he said, I got the chance to do something special with the greatest quarterback of all time. He just looks like a different type of guy now, beyond the talent end of it. And they were two guys that really impressed me last week. I'm looking forward to Sunday. I like, if I put the gun to my head now, the spread this week, Jeff, is Packers by 4 at home. The over-under is 51. I don't think this is going to be the high-scoring game people think. I think the weather conditions are going to keep it down a little bit.
I agree.
I'm going to pick the Packers in this game. No, you know what? I'm going to do for the show. Sake of the show, I'm going to take the Bucks. I think the Bucks are going to find a way to win this game. I think they are going to try to find a way to host this game in their city, and it's Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady has something in his career. He sprinkled a little fairy dust on something. He made a deal with the devil, whatever, and I think he wants to rub this in Bill Belichick's face. And Tom Brady finds a way to win this game 24-20, 27-24, something in that range.
God, I hope he don't win. That's all I can say is I can't say it enough. I hope he don't win. I hope he trots out on the field, slips, and like fucking shatters vertebrae in his neck or something, and he can't play ever again.
Well, let me ask you this question. You always fight with me about him being the greatest. Let's say he just gets to the Super Bowl, even if he loses, 10 Super Bowl appearances in 20-something years. Jeff, are you ready to anoint him as the greatest quarterback of all time yet?
They're inflated.
Here we go, inflated. 10 Super Bowls is inflated?
Yeah. Played in a division where he was guaranteed 5 to 6 wins a year for how many years?
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's one thing. Okay. Mm-hmm. He's just inflated.
Let me ask you this serious question.
Inflated.
Because I got to get you off the
when you play the AFC East
yeah.
for majority of your games, and then the rest of your games against the Bengals, the Lions, and also Rams of the league, you get to the Super Bowl every year too.
Let me ask you. Let's have a serious question. Let's have a serious conversation for once. Something where you can give out your vast knowledge of NFL analytics.
I'm getting bored here.
No, how much do you think this is killing Bill Belichick right now?
I don't know. Probably as much as it's killing me to know that fucking Brady may actually get back to the Super Bowl.
Well, let me ask you this other question: if Brady were to get to the Super Bowl and win, but let's say just getting back to the Super Bowl, does that does that tarnish the legacy of Bill Belichick? Do we start to whisper maybe it was Brady?
No, not yet.
Not
If it
yet.
happens another year, 2 years in a row, then I could say that. If New England finishes with the same record or worse next season, and Brady improves with the Bucs and maybe wins the Super Bowl a second year in a row or something like that, then I could say, yeah, you could point the finger and say it's Brady. But the only reason I say that it's not yet is because, there's a lot of things. COVID did not help matters with everybody. Their quarterback situation in New England could have been a little different. Maybe their overall record would have been a little different. In Tampa Bay, he got into the playoffs, and they got Antonio Brown back late. They got what's his face, Gronkowski, coaxed him out of retirement. So these guys are going to be another year older. Especially if, let's say, Antonio Brown is on the Bucs next year.
Okay.
He only played a portion of the season in the playoffs this year. He didn't go through the rigors of a whole season. So, it may have something that may end up hurting him in the next season.
Well, here's the thing. Let me say this. What if Brady goes to Super Bowl, wins it, and retires? Bill next year, 7-9, 6-10. No real direction. 10 years from now, Bill retires after that. Legacies are over. Does Bill's legacy get tarnished at all? I don't think so. To me, he's the coach of 6 Super Bowl champions, dominated the league for how many years? I say no. I think Bill Belichick has earned it, no matter how much he needed or how much Tom Brady's influence or meant to the team. But I'm curious on your end. You hate Belichick, you hate Brady, you hate New England. Would you say if it ends that way next year, how would you take it? How are you seeing this at the end of Bill's career?
Like I said, Tom, there's a lot of different things you got to factor. You got to remember they didn't get their quarterback till June. They didn't have a preseason. They didn't have a lot of different things that they normally have.
Right,
so this year, assuming that all of that happens,
okay,
I think it'll be a little bit different. I don't think that they had a quarterback that was on his way out anyway. Cam Newton, the guy played horribly.
Terrible.
So give them a better quarterback. What did they finish? 7-9?
Yeah.
Give them a better quarterback. Maybe it gives them 3 games. I don't remember who they played and who they lost to, but let's say that a better quarterback and a better offseason gives them 3 games. Bang, they're in the playoffs. Maybe right now we're talking about Kansas City versus New England with Tampa Bay versus Green Bay to get into the Super Bowl. And maybe Tampa Bay wins and Green Bay wins. And then, Tampa Bay wins and New England wins. Then we have the real battle to see how this would play out. Imagine that.
Yeah. Wow, that would be interesting. Yeah, I think this to me, I think both guys are back next year. I don't think there's any question of that. If Brady were to find a way to win a Super Bowl, I think there's a chance he could retire. Small chance, but I think he could do it. Because it'd be a hell of a way to go out, Jeff. 44 years old. You just won your 7th Super Bowl. You won it in the city where you play. That's a lot. I got to be honest with you. If I was going to go out, that's where to go.
I don't think he's going out, Tom. I think he's going to come back. I really think he wants to play. Somehow, some way. I hope they fucking find out that he's on fucking PEDs or something. I really do. That he's taking shock testosterone, something. He's doing something to continuously play at the level he's playing, and I hope that they catch him.
I have to be honest. I thought he was done last year. I really thought that he had nothing. I thought it was like watching Peyton's last year where he just couldn't throw the ball anymore. Tom came out through 40 touchdowns this year. I think 12 interceptions or 10 interceptions. I think he can absolutely play another year in this league. Who knows if it falls apart next year? But I don't think it helps or hurts either man's career. I think Tom Brady's the best quarterback I've ever seen from a total standpoint, and Bill Belichick's still the best coach I've gotten to see. And I love Parcells and I love the theory of Vince Lombardi, but nothing beats those two guys. All right, Jeff, before we go start the playoffs, give me the matchup of the 4 teams. Give me the matchup that the NFL wants to see in the Super Bowl.
Oh wow. Green Bay and Kansas City.
Great, I agree with that. I think it's the matchup of Super Bowl 1. It's probably the best young quarterback versus probably the best quarterback in the league right now. 2 good teams. So yeah, I would think that's the matchup. What's the matchup the NFL doesn't want to see?
You know what? I don't think there is a matchup that they don't want to see, simply because all of these teams have different storylines and angles that make them interesting opponents for each other. I don't think that anybody would have a problem if it was Green Bay and Buffalo, Kansas City, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because now you got one of the best quarterbacks of all time with Tom Brady versus Mahomes. You have an up and comer if you get Green Bay and Buffalo with an up and comer in Allen versus Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
and then if you have Green Bay and Kansas City, that would be an interesting matchup, because once again, you got last year's Super Bowl winner against Aaron Rodgers, who hasn't been to the Super Bowl in a while. I mean, you could just it's like plug and play. It's interchangeable. I can't even come up with a bad one. I really can't.
No, because there is a storyline to every game. You look at the Bills. They haven't won. They've went to how many Super Bowls? I still haven't won one. You got the Chiefs and Mahomes back to back. You do have the intrigue of if Mahomes were to get hurt and the Chiefs win, going to Super Bowl maybe without him. On the other side, there's tons of. It's the Green Bay Packers going for another Super Bowl win. It's Tom Brady trying to get his 7th. The storylines are, for me, if you're asking me, I want to see Tom Brady get in. I do. I could take Brady against Mahomes. I love the Packers. I'm not a huge Aaron Rodgers fan, but I love Green Bay and their uniforms and Lambeau Field. So, again, you said it right. There is no such thing as a bad matchup for the Super Bowl.
No, I just don't see it. I don't see it.
Yeah, I think it could be a fairly competitive game. Like I don't see a weakness where you'd say, well, if they face Tampa, their defense can't contain them, or that offense is so good that nobody's defense is that good. There's nobody overmatched in this. I don't believe. So, to me, for me, I could take any matchup. I tell you what, I'll tell you, I probably want to see the Bills and the Buccaneers. If you ask me, just for fun, I'd like to see those 2 teams get in. Something different.
That may actually, even though you do have a young quarterback versus one of the best, that may be the least desirable out of the matchups that you can get.
Absolutely.
It's kind of like 2 small market teams.
Well, plus
almost going at it.
Plus, how much of this country? First off, most of the country don't even know anything about the Bills. They play in upstate New York. They're almost irrelevant, other than they're of the 3 New York teams, 3 New York area teams. They're the best one, and most of the country hates Tom Brady. So most of the country don't want to watch him win.
Well, you know what, Tom? How many of the people actually know anybody else on the Buccaneers other than Tom Brady? When I was watching the other day, I heard them say JPP.
Yep.
So I was like, holy shit, yeah, that's right. He's on there. And Dominic Sue.
Yep, and Dominic
his name mentioned.
Which I didn't know. I didn't know he was on that team. Shame on me. I didn't realize it.
Yeah. I think this is his 2nd year. No, is it his second year? Yeah.
It's the 2nd year there. I forgot that he was signed there, went there. I didn't realize it till the playoffs. Now, he's not the player he was, but it's a pretty good defense. It's not great.
He's still a force, bro.
Yeah, I have to tell you, he's stitle a good player. I agree with you. He played very well last week, and it's interesting.
Kind of ironic. I remember when I forget who it was. Maybe it was when the Rams played the Patriots. Somebody did an interview with him, and the guy somehow must have slipped past security or something. It was great. And said something about like they were going to be watching him and about him being a dirty player and playing against Brady, and he knew it was a joke. Like he caught them at it.
Oh, really?
He just thought, yeah, dude, you got to look it up on YouTube. It's great because the guy is like, questioning him. And then all of a sudden you see Sue's face. He just starts smiling, and he's just like, "You have a good day now." But it's just the way it happened. It was great. It really was, because the guy's like, I'm going to be keeping an eye on you. And he just starts smiling. I was like, oh, man, that's fucking great shit. It really is.
Jeff and Tom talking sports, talking whatever we want to talk about. That's the beauty part of the show. We can talk about whatever we want. Speaking of heist, did you ever see, it's always on ESPN or one of those channels, the Brady heist?
No, what is that?
Yeah, there was one of the Super Bowls a few years back. I think it was Super Bowl 52. Brady after the game put his jersey that he won in his bag in his locker, and it disappeared. And it actually turned into an FBI investigation.
Okay, yeah, I remember hearing about that, yeah.
So it turned out there was this guy who was like the chief sports guy for some Mexican newspaper, and he was like this a football obsessed. He would go to all the games and get autographs and pictures, which is a big no-no. When you're in the media, it's a very big no-no to ask for that. I remember it was one of those things when I worked for Fox and ESPN and all those places that they should tell you, do not ask for an autograph. If we get one complaint, you are never coming back. So the guy goes to the Super Bowl, and I don't know if he planned it. From what I can gather, he kind of went in there with the thought of coming out of there with something, but he kind of disguised himself as part of the team, got into the locker room before the media, and some employee happened to catch him leaving and thought it was odd and ratted him out. And they did this whole FBI search, and they went to Mexico to basically arrest and get the jersey back for Tom Brady. Wow. It's an amazing story. The guy comes on at the end and he explains it, that he was, so into getting autographs, and he was like obsessed with it. And they show all these different guys who have done stuff like this. It's a very interesting. And then it's like Tom Brady's a part of it. He's like almost embarrassed by it. He's like, I just wanted my jersey back because it meant something to me. It was, I don't know if it was win number 6, but it was definitely one of them. And very interesting documentary. And I wanted to get into that because there's so many good ones out right now. I heard the Tiger Woods one. I think it's 3 parts. A big piece of it. It's all the tail he was getting. So I got to put that on my list of things to do this weekend.
This weekend too, I have some free time. My wife's going to visit her mother, but I got to work Friday, tomorrow, unfortunately, which is usually my RDO.
Yeah.
And then Saturday I'll be off. But me and the dog is unfortunately going to the vet on Monday to get her remaining eye removed.
That's a shame.
Yeah, she doesn't see out of it as it is, so it's just to better her life, we're hoping.
Okay.
But so I'm just going to be spending some time with her and spoiling her a little bit.
For you, that's nice.
Yeah,
that's good. Did you see that Philip Rivers retired?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, is he a Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
Okay.
He is. If we're going to put other people in the Hall of Fame, Philip Rivers has to go in the Hall of Fame. That's all I'm saying.
You went there. You were going. I wasn't going there. I wasn't going to compare the two, but yeah.
I didn't compare it to anybody.
You were smiling.
I just said, if we're going to put Philip Rivers, if we're going to put anybody else in the Hall of Fame, we got to put Philip Rivers.
You're lying sack of shit. You immediately thought of Eli. Don't even try.
I didn't even bring his name up. I didn't bring his name up.
You lying sack of shit.
But I will say he is a prime example of somebody that if we put him in the Hall of Fame, Eli, you have to put in Philip Rivers.
I agree.
So,
I agree. I agree. I think they're kind of one and the same type of player. So if one, then yes, absolutely.
No, not at all. Not one and the same.
Right.
Eli is light years behind Philip Rivers.
You can't even say it with a straight face. Jerk off.
90
you're
seconds.
such a jerk off. Anyway, whatever you're going to say. I don't care. You can say whatever you want. Eli's getting in the hole.
I'm going to pay. You ever see that commercial with James Harrison?
Oh, yeah.
I want to sign you up for that. And watch James Harrison come right out of that closet behind you, man.
Did you ever see it's all over YouTube. The guy, he goes around, he's like serves people with the court papers, but he drives around with shoulder pads. It's a big, huge black guy with shoulder pads and a football jersey, and he runs up and he tackles you. Did you ever see it?
No.
Oh, I gotta find it. Hold on. I'm gonna end the show early tonight. I got a very early start tomorrow, but I gotta find this video for you. 1 second. Indulge me on this. Man tackles. Let me see if I can find it. Tackles people. Let's see if it comes up somewhere. Oh yeah. Oh man, it comes right up. Hold on. You gotta see this. Hold. Oh, is it? Yeah, hold on. Let's share the screen. There's another one. And share. Hold on. We go back to the first one.
How does he not get fucking sued?
I don't know. I don't know, but watch this shit. It's hysterical. Watch this. Watch this. There's a deadbeat dads. he goes around, and that's how he does his job.
Jesus Christ.
There was a better video. I'm gonna see if there's any more on this one. I'm scrolling through it real quick. You got to see this. I'm sorry. It's that good. Okay, this one's not a good one. Hold on.
He looks like he's a big dude too.
He is. He's huge. Let's try this one. Let's see. Okay, but this guy just gotta get through this little. So now
these people he's tackling have to sign some kind of a waiver. Look at the size of this guy.
I don't know. Why is this stopped? Oh man, it's killing me. Oh man, come on. It's ridiculous. Come on, give me a second here. There's a whole compilation video of this guy. I'm gonna have to probably send it to you. I'm gonna find it later on. And
fuck, he just blasted. Was that a woman that he just blasted?
Oh. All right, it was worth a shot. I was hoping to find that there was one. The first one I ever saw of this guy, he must have went around about 12 people and just pummeled them. I mean, pummeled them to. Let's see. Just go through the video. It's not that.
Skating rink.
Yeah. Oh my God, the guy's a monster. I'm trying to recognize the one that I did. All right, I don't think I'm going to find it. There's a whole bunch of different ones, but not the one I'm looking for. All right. If I find it, I'll send it over to you one day. What the hell? All right.
Top tackle man with double amputation. That seems like a fucking classic video. Going to be hard to pass up on watching.
Yeah. I'm going to save all these. I'll watch them after the show. But there's one compilation video. He just was mauling people. Oh my God. I never saw. I've ever seen people get hit like that ever in my life.
Nice.
Just it's not coming up on my screen. It's worth a shot. Kickers making tackles. Who gives a shit? I tackled Mike Tyson. None of that's what I wanted. All right, it was worth a shot. Anyway, so All right, so we're making official picks for this weekend.
Sure, why not?
All right, so I'm picking the Bills to win this one by 7, and I'm picking the Tampa Bay. I like Tampa by 3.
I got to go with Kansas City in a close one, 7 or less, and decided very late in the fourth quarter, and Green Bay.
Okay.
Green Bay hopefully by about 35.
You want to get Tom Brady out, make him retire?
I would love to see Tom Brady lose like 38-3 and be 7 of 27 for 36 yards and 3 interceptions.
Well, that's possible. I will tell you that I don't know if I expect Tom Brady to go out there and throw the ball all over the field. He did not look great last week, so that end of it could be correct. I just think that the Tampa's got a big motivation. They want to get to play the game in their host city, and they want to get Brady another round.
I hope they lose because of him.
I know.
And if they get to the Super Bowl, man, oh my God.
One thing I wanted to bring up with you before we call it a day, I said something early in the show before you came on, but I wanted to give you a second if you wanted to say something about Tony Gunn and the passing of his dad.
Oh, yeah. Friend of the show, Tony Gunn, his dad, 98 years old, died last night or early this morning. And, we've known Tony for God knows how many years. So I called Tony up early around lunchtime just to give him my condolences, over the phone at the very least until I could get to the funeral home. And I spoke with him, and he was telling me what a huge sports fan his father was.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to get more into this next week because we can have Tony on and talk to him about it. We didn't want to bother him tonight. But some of the players that Tony's dad saw, Lou Gehrig, Babe Ruth, Ted Williams, Joe DiMaggio, all of these, he was a big, hardcore Brooklyn Dodger fan. He was a Giants and Jets fan, and just like sports in general and loved baseball. So we wanted to get Tony on next week so that we could talk a little bit more about it. Just give Tony a couple minutes to tell everybody about his dad and everything that his dad saw in his lifetime. Just imagine at 98 years old, let's say that he could remember back as far as from when he was 5 years old. If you remember, you're talking 93 years.
Yeah.
That there's a possibility that he remembered. 93 years. It's a long time, man. Oh my God.
1930s. You saw that. You're talking Gehrig in the early start of DiMaggio's career, and God, it's what?
Yeah.
It's a shame. I wish I would have known all that. I would have loved to try to talk Tony into getting his dad on the show. I don't know at what state his father was in. Maybe
Well, he told me that his old man was, wasn't very good at remembering things, I guess is a nice way of saying it at this point in time. So, but he said when his old man did remember, he would talk baseball with him and stuff. But as of late, it wasn't that way.
That's amazing. Listen, our condolences to Tony and Diane and all the family. I'm going to do my best. I have some plans that I have to try to reroute to try to make it to make it out to the wake. But I will do my best to get out there. Joey sent me out the message with the times. I think it's only like Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, I see that 2 days.
Yeah. So I'm going to do my best. If I don't, I will get to Tony and offer my condolences as well. But we do want to wish him and his family the best, and obviously anything we could do to help. And maybe we'll be able to get Tony on next week and talk about his dad and some of the things maybe he can give us some of the stories that his dad told him, and we'll take it from there. And let's see anything else on my board for tonight. I think we've exhausted everything on my sheets. Again, guys, we'll make sure you come back every Thursday night. Jeff and I are here, 7 to 9, 9:30, 10, depending on what's going on. We'll be back next Thursday night. No guests in the future. I'm gonna try to get Tommy John next week and talk.
That would be cool.
Trying to get Tommy John on, talk a little Don Sutton and Tommy Lasorda with Tommy, and maybe a little presidential. I'm sure Tommy's upset about the outcome of the presidential race. We'll get Tommy hopefully next week. And then, of course, the following week, we'll do our Super Bowl preview show. We'll be talking all football. We have our big Super Bowl trivia contest. Again, please, we're looking for 10 people First 5 winners get T-shirts. Jeff's hosting it. I will be just working the board that night. I'll get the contestants' names up. I'll play a little music behind them, and Jeff will ask the questions and be the official judge if the answers are correct. So
I'm looking forward to that. There's some people that are not going to win.
Well, I'm leaving it to you. So I suggest if you want to curry favor with the show host, I would not say that he is a de Blasio lover or de Blasio's bitch. Might not curry favor with the host.
Doesn't matter. You got a mind like an elephant. I remember everything.
That's true. That is very true. Well,
matter of fact, you should give me the shirts too. I'll mail them.
You'll take care of that. So make sure you come on. So February 4th, and like I said, after that, we'll.
Hey, listen, should I tape my beard up, you think, for the show?
Listen, I still have to try to raise money to get that thing fucking cut, but we'll see. I'll ask you next week.
Well, ask me.
How long are you going to let it go?
I don't know.
You haven't decided?
No. When I get out of the shower and I blow it dry and it's all nice and straight, it's like long. It looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks pretty sick.
It was funny.
I think.
I found a few pictures.
Pictures
from my parents' 50th anniversary party. A couple of the jams, and you see the beard in its very, very early stages.
It's infancy.
Yes. You're like, whoa, look at that picture. Holy cow. Before the beard.
And there I was thinking it was long then.
Yeah, no, it was barely a goatee at that point. But
you got to see at this point in time, everything is contingent upon how the wife feels about it.
Okay.
And right now she's digging it, man.
Really?
Oh yeah. I don't know why.
Okay.
Me personally, if I was her, I'd run. But
I run for different reasons though.
Overall package.
Yes.
You got to think, But she likes it.
Before I go, I want to ask you: is there one TV show? I know you're not a big TV guy. Is there one show you watch religiously?
Tom, I don't even know what's on TV. That's how little TV I watch. But if I had to say one thing that I do watch religiously, in the morning I do watch Channel 2 News.
Okay, why Channel 2?
Well, a long time ago when God knows how long ago, but when my wife used to watch TV every morning, she put the news on for the weather and the traffic and everything else because she was taking the express bus into the city. And the TV we had would only get Channel 2. So after a while of watching the news, we just got used to the Channel 2 broadcasters. I kind of like the way that they kind of do the news. And I just stuck with them. And my go-to, I like Channel 4, I think it is too.
Okay.
They're pretty cool too. But Channel 2, if I had to take a guess, a pick, it would be Channel 2.
So I'm curious. I've actually, and I'm embarrassed to say, but I know you don't watch a lot of TV. So I wonder, what does Jeff Towinski's day look like on a regular day? So you go out to work early in the morning, you get home on a normal day, 4:00, without the overtime stuff, 3:30. Your wife gets home a little later. What do you? Do you come home and nap? Do you play bass for 4 hours? What do you do to keep yourself busy?
It all depends, dude. There's certain days I do laundry. Mm-hmm. So I have 2 laundry days. I split the laundry up into 2 days. So I don't waste the whole day on Friday doing it like I used to. And then, I get home, like lately I've been working a lot. So I'll get home at 6 o'clock just as my wife is getting home.
Right.
Thursdays is the show. Friday and Saturday, I don't know. Depends. I practice a lot. That's what I do a lot. Practice a lot.
Okay. So on a normal night, you get home, you have dinner, it's 7 o'clock. You go to bed at, let's say, 9, 10 o'clock. So between that, not a lot of TV watching. It's practicing or just hanging out in the house.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow. See, I am addicted to TV. For the show. When I'm sitting in here, working on the show, going through notes, the TV's on. I might have a show on. I watch some shows religiously. some shows, and sometimes it's just sports and watching different documentaries. But I said to myself, I wonder what Jeff actually does with his day if he's not watching TV when he's hanging out.
No, dude, you know what happened? My wife used to watch certain shows. She had the Roku. So she was picking up other shows and had like Netflix on there, whatever. I don't even know what the fuck was on the Roku.
Louis said Duck Dynasty.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I don't even pay attention. So, Lou, send us your size for the T-shirt.
You gotta admit that's fun.
So anyway, she would watch all these different shows, and I just never got into them with her.
Okay.
And now she just like, I don't even know what the fuck this woman watches on TV. Everything looks the same to me. Every single show she's watching looks the same.
Yeah, I agree. My wife watches a lot of those Married at First Sights and all these different.
No, like that. She finds like these shows on like Netflix or Hulu. I don't even know what she's using, and all of these like made for cable shows that like you don't know who the people are, and you know because they're just making this brand new series. And you know, last week this guy was polishing cars. Now he's banging all of these hot chicks because he's the hottest actor in Hollywood because he's on fucking, you know, Netflix or something. I don't know.
Yeah, again, I try to watch. I have a few shows I watch religiously. I know you haven't watched it yet, and I recommend you gotta watch Cobra Kai. You gotta go back and binge watch.
Please tell me what is going on with this?
Okay.
Why? Because everybody's like going hell bent for this.
So it's the Karate Kid. It's the two guys from the original. It's Ralph Macchio and William Zabka. William Zabka plays Johnny Lawrence, which was Ralph was Daniel's nemesis in Karate Kid 1.
Yeah.
So 35 years later, and it's their life now. So Daniel's just a successful car salesman. You know, his life is great. He's got a great wife, big, beautiful house. And Johnny Lawrence is this drunken, heavy metal, you know, can't keep a job, you know, can't keep a marriage. His kid doesn't like him. And it's just whole progression into bringing back Cobra Kai. And that I'm telling you, listen, it's bad acting. The series is predictable. In season 1, I could tell you what was going to happen in season 3, and I was right. My wife can confirm it, but I have to tell you, Jeff, here's what I like about it. They said the new season's coming out, so you think like you're going to get like one show a week, so every week you got to wait. No, they give you all 10 episodes. I sat there on a Saturday and watched 8 hours of straight episodes.
Jesus Christ, man! You may need something to do, dude.
Dude, I love it. I wish they would do it every 2 weeks. They come out with 10 new episodes. I love the show. It's predictable. It's ridiculous, and it is so much fun. But here's the premise of it. It's that like you ever like watch the movie when you were a kid and you go, I wonder what happened to that. You know, that what would happen down the road with that character. Like this is just. The movie's ended, and you wonder what happened to Daniel. Like, what if he was older now? And it's a TV show. So instead of being 1 2-hour movie, it's been three years of 10 episodes, hour each. And it's just they go back and like they find like past characters come back. It's amazing. I'm telling you, you get a snowy day, or you get one of those days where you just feel like you don't want to watch something. Give it a chance. I'm telling you, Cobra Kai is the best. And the good part of it is there's a lot of good music in it because he's Johnny Lawrence is a big metal fan. Dee Snider pops up and does some Twisted Sister songs live in the show. It's really cool. If you get a chance, watch it. I recommend it. I know you're not.
If I remember, but to tell you the truth, you know, I've been playing a lot because I don't know what's going on with the Hard Rock and Sports Band, another band that I was jamming with. We parted ways due to a very strong difference of opinion on a lot of different shit. So I was just like, it's time for me to go. See you later. And you know, I'm trying to just learn songs as much as I can.
Yep.
To see a way I could find something to do. You know, because I'm hoping I may start liquidating some equipment soon, man. I listen. I bought 3 bases while this pandemic is going on, and with no place to play. You know, and I got all of this stuff. This room closet right behind me, right here.
Yeah, I saw you lined them all up. I saw you post with that.
Yeah, they were lined up right here because I had to straighten them out and bring equipment and put it in there. There's so much shit in there, it's unbelievable.
Oh, I mean, listen, I don't know how Chris's foot is, but maybe it's time to reach out to Jimmy to see what the interest is.
Well, could ask. We can only find out. It would be nice to do something again, without a doubt.
Yeah, just even if it's not every single week, even if it's every other week, or it's 3 weeks and take it off. Just to get out there. Go ahead. No, that's it.
And one other thing I want to touch base on real quick before, and I just want to give my opinion on the winner of the election.
Okay.
And everything that has happened. I firmly and honestly and truly am ready to tell you who actually won the election.
Oh boy, here we go.
Okay, the big winner of election 2020 is none other than Mr. Bernie Sanders. He has become an internet sensation with the memes that they have made with him now because of him sitting there with the mask on and the gloves. It is fucking great. Have you seen some of these?
I was just scrolling a few minutes ago. I was kind of scroll Facebook as we're talking, just to kind of keep up. And Lou Toro had a whole bunch of them on his page.
Oh my god, and dude! Some of them are hysterical.
I was cracking up. I thought it was they're fantastic. He pops up. The funniest one I saw so far. I don't know if you'll find it, but it's the one where he pops up next to Chris Christie on the beach.
No, I didn't see that one yet, but that's a good one.
Yeah, Chris Christie's on the beach. That famous photo of him, and then he's over there bundled up in the thing. Oh, it's hysterical. That one and the one, he realized the third band's up instead of 4. He's at a concert all by himself. Oh, it's the best.
Dude, I have right here. I'm looking. I got one of him. There's so many. It would be unbelievable. There's one of him at the Game of Thrones. Okay, one of him at Spumoni Gardens, one of him at Satriali's from The Sopranos.
Oh my god!
Another one from Game of Thrones. One of him in a hospital bed, saying that they're waiting to send him home. One on the cover of a Metallica Ride the Lightning album cover.
I'm trying to get one up so we can put it up on the show.
One of Third Rock from the Sun, The Simpsons. This one looks like fucking Harry Potter. Star Wars. It's great.
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, it's
Hamilton.
It's the definite new meme. You'll see.
People are loving your gloves. Do you want to talk to us about?
Oh my god, some of them are fucking funny.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Oh my god,
don't seem to be there anymore. Now, before I couldn't get rid of them. Now I can't find any.
Yeah, don't worry about it. When you get off, you'll get hit with an avalanche of them, man. There are some great ones, dude.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm sure I will. But all right, so you got anything you want to end with, Jeff? I'm giving you the last word.
No, dude. I got to get up early for work myself, and take the dog out.
Okay, so
dodge pea puddles and logs in the backyard.
All right, guys. Well, if you're sitting around, like I said, I'm recommending Cobra Kai seasons 1, 2, and 3. I recommend you come on back next Thursday night to spend some time with Jeff and I. We'll break down this weekend's games, and hopefully we'll have a couple of guests and get ready for our big February 4th Super Bowl preview show. We got, again, a big contest. If you want to be involved, reach out to Jeff and myself, and we'll get you on. We're looking for a few more people. First 5 winners get a shirt. So, again, wrapping up.
Top 5 winners?
Top 5. Yeah, I only ordered 25 shirts. I can't give all 10 away.
No, listen, I wouldn't give it.
So
I'd give out 3. Make it a top 3.
Well, I'm going to do top 5. So, again, let's see. We might only get 3 guests. I'm not sure. Right now, I got 2 for sure. I'm hoping to get another 8 so we can get a bunch of win. Maybe get in the first 5 that win, get the shirts. But I got to reach out to a couple people and coax them on to be part of the show. But otherwise, you guys enjoy the football this weekend. The 3 o'clock is the Packers and the Buccaneers. The 6 o'clock game, a 6-something game would be Chiefs and the Bills. Enjoy the football.
You know who I'm hoping throws his hat in the ring, don't you?
Who's that?
If you could see the ring.
The half man. I'm
going to be the half man.
I'm going to reach out to him personally and let him know. See if I can get him to agree.
It would be funny to see him try.
I will definitely reach out to him. But like I said, guys, enjoy. It's going to be cold on tomorrow afternoon. The weather, the temperatures dip into the 20s, and we stay like that for a while. So stay warm, stay inside, watch some past episodes of the Hard Rocket Sports Show if you want, and certainly watch your football this weekend. Come on back next Thursday night and hang with Jeff and me for a few hours, and while we do this, and Jeff, I'll talk to you off the air, and let's push the Hard Rocket Sports Band a little bit, see if we can get that going.
Yeah, here's hoping, man.
You got it. So, guys, for Jeff, myself, and everybody here at Hard Rocket Sports, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And come on back next Thursday night when we do this all over again. Have a good one, man. I'll talk to you later.
Later, dude.
Later.
Bye.
And